Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto is the son of chaos and order. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by all-around guy and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. October 10th Kyuubi attack. We see Minato Namikaze just finishing up the Reaper Death Seal to seal the Kyuubi away into his only son. Curse you Minato! I will not be sealed again, Kyuubi yells. He then looks at Naruto, tries to stab him to stop the seal. I know Minato yells as he tries to stop the claw, but stops as he sees the claw stop mere inches from baby Naruto's heart. He turns and sees Kushina walking towards them. She now has black eyes with golden pupils and is wearing the sage's robe. Impossible! Kyuubi screams. He then turns towards Kushina and his eyes widen. Kushina, thank you for the help, he says with a pained smile as his soul is beginning to leave him. Kushina smiles. Minato, there is no longer need for that name. He knows who I am after all. She smiles towards Kyuubi. Am I mother? He asks hopefully. She smiles. Yes Kurama, it is I. Your mother Chaos, the sage of six paths, is a woman in my FIC. How are you alive? We saw you die in front of us. Chaos smiles sadly towards Kurama. I'm sorry about that, but gods have rules. We cannot raise our own children. Believe me, I wanted to raise you all but I couldn't. It broke my heart to leave you. If I could raise you I would. Please believe me. I believe you mother, but why are you here now? He asks, wanting to know. She smiles. Well, you see, she points towards Naruto. Naruto is my child. Kurama's eyes widen to dinner plates. So I just tried to kill my, he asks fearfully. She smiles sadly a bit. Yes, he is your brother. I forgive you though, and I understand your reasoning. I just have a request. Kurama looks at her. What is it? He asks, wanting to know what it is. She smiles towards her. Kurama, I want you to help train your brother so he can get strong to protect those precious to him. Also give him these books on sealing, and give him this jutsu when the time is right. She laughed a little at Kurama's expression before continuing. Before you give him the jutsu, give him this. She hands him a necklace with a black gem. Believe he has the power to handle this. Kurama is thinking this over. Mother, if you trust me with this responsibility, then I agree, with determination in his eyes. His mother smiles. Good. Minato, can you please seal all of Kurama's chakra into Naruto? I believe Kurama is trustworthy enough. Minato nods. Seal. Minato says. He turns to Chaos. I hope we can meet again someday. After he says that, he falls over dead and all of Kurama's chakra goes into Naruto, leaving Chaos alone with the infant Naruto. She waits for Sarutobi to arrive before she disappears. 5 years later, we see a 5-year-old Naruto running for his life from a mob of angry villagers. He turns around and sees he's still being chased. Kill the demon brat. One villager yells. Yeah, he killed my husband. One angry villager says. I didn't kill anyone. I'm only 5i. This isn't true. He knows why he is being chased. He isn't the idiotic kid he lead on as. He can tell why they hate him by the names he is called. By why they chase him on his birthday, it wasn't hard to figure out. But he hides how smart he is because he knows it would only get worse. Plus a ninja's #1 rule is deception. We don't care, demon, we know you're faking, one villager reasoned. He takes a wrong turn into a dead-end alleyway. We have you now, demon, he says as he raises a wooden stick. No! Naruto screams as it is brought atop his head and he goes unconscious. He finds himself in a sea where I must be in my mindscape. Well, I guess it's time to meet the Kyuubi, he thinks to himself. As he approaches the cage, he sees the Kyuubi waiting for him. He smiles. You must be the Kyuubi. Pleased to meet you, he says with a wave. Kyuubi raises an eyebrow. You're not afraid? Well, you haven't done anything wrong to me, and I'm pretty sure that you didn't attack Konoha without reason. Seeing as you didn't kill me yet, you must already like me somewhat. Fair enough, but I have a deal with you. But before that, what do you fight for? Naruto thinks for a moment. He looks up. I fight for those who can't, and to protect those around me and those who are precious to me. Kurama shows a fox-like smile. Well, Naruto, that is noble. My deal with you is to train you to protect those close to you, no strings attached. I promise I won't do anything besides to help you, brother. He finishes with an even bigger fox-like grin. After seeing Naruto's expression. What do you mean, brother? He asks carefully. Kurama smiles. Well, you see, Naruto, you and I have the same mother. Who it is I can't tell you, but I can tell you your father. He was Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage. My name, by the way, is Kurama. Naruto's eyes widen. That is a lot to take in. Can you give me a moment? Kurama nods. Okay, I accept your offer. I have to protect those precious to me. Kurama nods. Alright, here is your schedule and supplies. Don't worry, the supplies will be at your house when you get there. By the way, here's the shadow clone jutsu for training. Anyways, here's your schedule. 5 to 6 morning workouts, 6 to 9 kenjutsu practice, 19 to 1 element manipulation, 1 to 3 lunch, 3 to 6 jutsu practice, 6 to 9 fuinjutsu, 9 to 12 Greek mythology, 12 to 5 sleep. Now, brother, don't share this with anyone, because they will kill you on the spot for me training you. They'll think I'm manipulating your mind and will kill you. He looks at Kurama. Alright, brother. Let's get started, he says with enthusiasm. Kurama smiles at that. 11 years after Kyuubi attack. I'm skipping the training, but it will be mentioned in later chaps. Also, I had all events happen a year early, and all events basically follow canon. Naruto's POV. I look at Sasuke in rage. He first tries and leaves to give that avatar's Orochimaru what he wants, then he says he doesn't need friends to gain power. Then he send a freaking Chidori though my chest. Enough is enough, I'm not holding back anymore. I begin to chuckle, which confuses Sasuke, then it turns into laughter. What's so funny done? Sasuke asks, slightly angry at the laughter. After he is able to control himself somewhat, he says, I find it funny that you say you don't need friends to get stronger. It is quite the opposite, Sasuke, because of friends. I've been holding back the entire time, Sasuke. Every battle we've had was fake. The only people who knew this were the old man, me and my sensei. He chuckled a bit. Now let me show you what having friends to help you really do. Sasuke POV. Sasuke was shocked. This done has been holding back the entire time? Why, he thought. I look up to see Naruto grins sadly. Well, Sasuke. Seems like this is my final mission before I leave. Here is a gift that I think you'll like, he says. Then all of a sudden a portal appears and a bound Itachi appears. Sasuke's eyes widen. Here he is, the person he wants revenge on just handed to him. By the way, Sasuke. It would have been hopeless to go after Orochimaru. I already killed him. He is merely a shadow clone. He smirks at him as his eyes widen. As Naruto gets up and puts on a necklace with a black gem on that glows red for a second before he begins to fade. Goodbye, Sasuke, for now. Just tell Kakashi when he arrives I'll be at my mother's world. And Sasuke, I'm not evil for giving you Itachi. I'm just helping a friend out. All I ask in return is for you to watch over my friends. As he disappears, he activates his Rinnegan to show Sasuke. His eyes widen at the disappearing Naruto, and then looks at Itachi. Well, Itachi, you got what you wanted, he stats coldly as he throws a kunai at his head, embedding it in between his eyes. Just then Kakashi arrives and widens his eyes as he sees Itachi dead and Sasuke looking at him coldly. With Naruto, the necklace has the power to transport you to camp, but it seems you're needed here first. Naruto nods and then looks around. Well, looks like I made it. He then activates a seal on his arm, and he is wearing his new clothes. He is wearing a black shirt and pants with the Uzumaki symbol in orange on the front of the shirt. Over that he is wearing a replica of Minato's cloak with orange flames on the bottom. He then begins to wander around. He then hears someone crying. He looks towards the noise and sees a girl sitting at the bottom of a mountain crying. He sighs, then starts to walk towards her. As he approached her, she sees him and instantly is on guard. He holds his hands up in surrender. It's okay, I'm not here to hurt you. How can I trust thee? The last one I trusted broke it, and my heart. All men are the same, she says sadly. He sees the heartbreak and betrayal in her eyes. He sighs, I know how it feels to be betrayed, but not heartbroken. I've never dealt love where I was from. I was beaten on a daily basis for something out of my control minutes after my birth. Her eyes widen at that, but he then smiles. But enough about me. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, who are you? She looks at him for a second then smiles. I'm Zoe Nightshade. Chapter 2, A Hero is Born. Naruto looks towards Zoe and smiles. Well, hi Zoe. Do you have somewhere to go? If you do, I'll bring you there. She starts to cry again after he says that. What's the matter? She wipes the tears away. It's just I don't have anywhere to go anymore, she whispers. He frowns. Why is that? He asks. Well, you see, Heracles had to get an apple from her as tree, but he couldn't because of the dragon. So I helped him and he got the apple from tricking my father to get it. Because of that my family disowned me and banished me never to come back, and he left me here alone. She finishes and begins to cry again. Naruto looks at this sadly and goes up to her and holds her while she cries. I will be okay, he says. She tenses at first when he holds her but then relaxes. How can you be sure that it will be alright? She asks. He looks at her sadly. Let me tell you a story. He begins. It is about a boy who was hated by everyone in his village. He was seen as a monster because of something out of his control. The villagers overcharged him on everything or only gave him expired things to eat. He was kicked out of the orphanage when he was 3. Every year on his birthday he was chased and beaten. He didn't think things would get better, he says with a faraway look in his eyes, but it did get better. When he was 6 he met the owners of a ramen restaurant, and they became his first friends along with the leader of his village. When he started the academy he made more friends. She was crying the whole time he was telling the story, and she knew who the boy was. That boy was me. The point of the story is that everything gets better in time. She was still crying but held him tighter. I'll ask again, do you have anywhere to go? He asks again. She thinks for a second. I could go to Lady Artemis to join the hunt. He smiles. Do you know where they are? He asks. She nods. Last I heard they are in a forest west of Athens, she says a little hopefully. He smiles. Good, then that's where we're heading. Her eyes widen. Really, you would help me? Why? She asks cautiously. He smiles at her. Even though I have no doubt you can make it there by yourself. I don't abandon my friends. I promise I'll help you there. He smiles and looks in her eyes. And if there's one thing to know about me, I don't break my promises. Her eyes widen. His friend? Does he really trust me to be his friend this quickly? And why do I feel happy being his friend? Alright, we should be on our way. It will take us at least 2 days to make it there. She laughs. 2 days? That's pretty arrogant to make that statement. Athens is over 5,000 miles away. He looks at her seriously. I'm not joking. If I wanted to I could get us there in a day. But I have a feeling you would want to rest before we get there. He finishes with a smile. Zoe widens her eyes. This boy could travel 5,000 miles in a day? That is unheard of. Who is your godly parent? She asks curiously, wanting know. He smiles sadly at her. I don't know, but I know it's my mother. Her eyes widen. He doesn't know who his parent is and he's that strong? Whoever his mother is, she must be strong. Okay, how do you plan on getting us there? she asked. He smiles. Just jump on my back. She looks at him red in the face. What? Do you seriously expect me to believe that? He looks at her with a straight face. Yes, why wouldn't you? He then notices her red face. So if you're worried about that, then I promise not to get the wrong idea. That seems to calm her down. Okay. She then climbs onto his back and puts her arms around his neck. Okay, hang on. He then runs and jumps into the trees at speeds even the monsters can't track. Zoe screams. 5 hours later, Naruto looks behind him and sees Zoe fell asleep. Seems like she fell asleep. Oh well, I sense we are only 10 miles away. He stops and gets to the ground. He sets up a tent so Zoe can sleep in it. He then walks outside and takes first watch. He sighs. You can come out now. I know you're there. He hears a woman laugh. Ah, so I was right. I did sense a demigod. A powerfully one at that. A monster appears from the trees. Its top half a woman, its bottom half a snake. So Echidna, why did you come here? Why, I came here to test you, of course, but I'm not alone. I brought some of my sons and daughters. She begins to laugh as Naruto's eyes narrow. Just then 9 figures appear. He sees Orthus the 2-headed dog, Cerberus the 3-headed dog that guards the gates of Hades, the Lenean Hydra, the Chimera, Medusa the Gorgon, Scylla the sea monster, the Termessian fox, Ladin the dragon, and the Nemean lion. Naruto sighs. If you want to fight me, can I at least wake up my friend first? She thinks for a moment, while her sons and daughters growl. Alright, but no funny business, she says. He nods. Alright, shadow clone jutsu. A second Naruto appears, shocking Echidna and her children. Alright, go wake up Zoe and tell her you'll protect her while I fight. The clone nods. Right, boss. He goes to the tent to wake up Zoe. He hears Echidna chuckle. Well, you just get more interesting now, do you? Tell me, who is your godly parent? She asks. He looks down. I don't know, he replies honestly. She looks shocked. This boy has this strong of an aura and he doesn't know his godly parent. She can tell he isn't lying too. Well, whoever it is probably doesn't want you, she says with a dark grin. He looks at her, but his hair covers his eyes and he's leaking out a lot of killing intent. He looks up, but his normal blue eyes are now a mix of the Kurama's eyes and the Renegan. And what would you know about my parent? All gods don't claim their kids right away, but do we complain? No, so what gives you the right to say that? He takes a step forward, leaking enough killing intent to make all the monsters fall to the ground, and it isn't directed to them. And Echidna is so afraid that she is paralyzed with fear. She sees an image of her own death by the hands of this boy. She heard what some of her children say about Heracles, and even him isn't this strong. Who is this boy? With Zoe and the clone. Zoe wakes up to see the stars in the sky. She wonders where she is. Then looks to see Naruto looking at her. He smiles. Good to see you're awake, he says, smiling at her warmly. Where am I? She asks. Well, it's night, so we are resting. But some monsters found us, so the boss is fighting them, he says casually. What do you mean, boss? And what monsters? She asks. He sighs. Well, Zoe, I'm just a clone of the real one. And as of the monsters, they are Echidna and some of her kids. Zoe gulps. How many of her kids? She asks fearfully. 9, he says. Her eyes widen in fear. 9? Why is he fighting them alone? The clone sighs. What did I tell you about what friends mean to me? Her eyes soften a little. You'll do anything for them. The clone nods. Yes. That includes dying for them if I must. Her eyes widen again. He'll go that far just to protect his friends? Maybe he isn't like Heracles. She then tenses. The feeling of fear hits her like a wall. The clone chuckles a little and looks into the direction where Naruto is. Well, looks like she made him mad. If there's one thing to know about boss, don't make him mad. She looks at him slowly. That was him? The clone nods. Yes. Shouldn't take long now. Back with Naruto and Echidna. As he approaches Echidna, the Nemean lion steals his nerves and attacks him. When he is about to bite him, a lightning blade starts forming on Naruto's hand. Lightning blade. He stabs it in his mouth, killing him instantly, leaving behind a golden pelt. Then Scylla and Medusa approach him, Scylla lashing at him with her heads and Medea going to grab him. He then unsealed a 20-inch pure black blade with a star-like pattern on the blade and handle. He then proceeded to cut off Medea head and then channels earth energy into the sword and stabs Scylla. She then solidified into stone. The Hydra and Ladin try to attack him. He channels fire energy into the blade and cuts. Ladin, I'm not sure if you understand me, but I don't want to kill you if I don't have to. Zoe wouldn't forgive me. The dragon freezes as he hears his old master's name being said. Is she safe? He thinks to himself. Naruto tenses when he hears that. Wait, can I talk to monsters? Yes, she is safe, he says. I'm bringing her to the hunt for her safety, he thinks, hoping Ladin hears it. It appears the dragon does and relaxes. Alright, thank you. Can I have your name? Naruto smiles. The name's Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. The dragon looks at him. I thank you, Naruto Uzumaki. I hope my brothers don't attack you, the dragon thinks sadly. Naruto thinks for a second. I have nothing against dogs and foxes, considering I have a fox sealed in me, and one of my friend's clans deal with dogs, but looks like the Chimera will attack. So please forgive me if he does. I'll forgive you if he does. He always was the dumb one in the group, he jokes. Naruto chuckles. Alright, but I'm giving your brothers a chance to get out of their mother's shadow. The dragon nods and steps aside. What are you doing, Ladin? Defend your mother. I don't think so. I won't kill a monster unless they attack me first. Him and I came to an agreement. Now die. He lunges at her, but the Chimera steps in the way and gets stabbed instead. Naruto chuckles a little. You know what, you remind me of someone. They use people to just like you are right now, just for their personal gain. Who was it? She asks, semi-interested, semi-scared. His name was Orochimaru, he says coldly, letting that sink in. How do you know that name? She asks, afraid how he knew her son's name. He was from where I was from. And if I didn't know any better, I'd think he's your son, he says as he stabs her, and she bursts into dust. He looks towards the last 3 monsters. Then he feels himself moving by himself, and he slams his hands on the ground and creates wooden restraints to hold them while he talks to them. Hello there, he thinks to them. He sees them tense when they hear him. How can you talk to us? They all ask at the same time. I think it has to do with my mother, he thinks. They nod. What are you going to do with us? The fox asks. It depends. Are you going to attack me? He asks. They shake their heads. Okay, well, I'll let you go. They stare at him in shock. Really? They died. Well, yeah, I have nothing against dogs and foxes and try not to attack them unless they attack me or my friends. He smiles. Plus I like foxes and I was wondering if you would want to come along with me. The fox looks at him surprised. Really, you'd want me along? Yeah, why not? We can be friends. The fox looks at him with a faraway look. Friends? I never had a friend. Naruto sympathies with him. I used to too, but things change. He then looks at Cerberus and Orpheus. Will you two be my friends too? They look shocked that a human would want to be their friend, but they say yes. He smiles. Good. He releases the wooden binds. I hope we meet again sometime. They smile, as do we, as they begin to head their separate ways, and Temeshin follows him back to Zoe. 4 minutes later, as they approach Zoe, they see she is waiting patiently for him. He smiles. Hi Zoe. As he gets closer, she runs, hugs him. You idiot. Don't scare me like that. I thought you died. She says, but I didn't. And look, I made a new friend, he says, smiling, pointing towards Temeshin. She tenses when she sees him. But that's. I know, but we are friends, he says. She looks mad. All right, mister, tell me what happened, she says, angry. He nervously laughs. Well, you see, he then proceeded to tell her what happened. So you're telling me you beat them all, killed Echidna, made friends in Cerberus, Layden, Orpheus and Temeshin, and can talk to monsters and animals? She asks / states. He nods. Pretty much, yeah. She shakes her head slowly. Only you this could happen, she says. He smiles, then looks up at the sky. Well, we can continue and get there in about 5 minutes if you want, then you can join the hunt and go our separate ways. She nods slowly. We should do that. He nods. All right, let's go. They get up and begin to walk towards where Artemis is. When they are less than 100 feet away, well, Zoe, this is it. Yes, she whispers. I hope we can meet again someday. She smiles sadly, as do I. They then begin to walk away from each other when Zoe all of a sudden says, Naruto. He stops ya? She turns and smiles. I'm glad we're friends. He smiles back. Me too. He walks for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden he finds himself in a new place. The air smells different, and there aren't as many stars, and there are bigger buildings. Well, Naruto, I'd say this is your new home. He smiles. Yeah, I guess so. He puts his hands in his pockets and feels a note. He opens it up and reads. Dear Naruto, this is your new home. Sorry I sent you to the past before your new home, but I felt it was necessary, and I'll do it again from time to time. Also, you will have to go back home to help your siblings with the Madara later. But that will be no problem since you know all the members already, and should be no problem. You will also be attending a school here to get you used to this place. It is called Yancy Academy. Try to make friends, and your apartment is in New York, USA. Also remember to practice your skills so they don't get old, but do it secretly. Sincerely, your mother. He smiles. Okay, so I know where I am, and I have to go to school. No biggie. Next day, Andromeda's POV. Andromeda's is a shy girl caused by her abusive stepfather Gabe. She dyslexia and ADHD. Did you hear? We are getting a new student today, a random student says. We are. Who is it? Another asks. He shrugs. Beats me, but what his profile says, he's pretty cool. Just then a kid walks into the door. With whisker marks on his cheeks? He is wearing black jeans with orange stripes on the sides with a black shirt. Over that he is wearing a golden coat with orange flames on the bottom. The Nemean lion's pelt. Ah, you must be the new student, the teacher says. He nods. Can you tell us your name? He smiles warmly at the class, which gets a lot of the girls to blush, including me. He waves. Hi, I'm Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. The teacher smiles. Well, Mr. Uzumaki, you can sit next to Miss Jackson over there. He nods to him, and then sits next to me. He smiles. Hi, I'm Naruto. What's your name? He asks me. I blush. I'm Andromeda. Nice to meet you, I finish with a smile. He smiles back, which gets me to blush even more. Well, Andromeda, I think we'll be great friends. He doesn't see it, but I smile too. I think we will too. We see Andromeda, Grover and Naruto all on the bus to go on the field trip to the museum. Behind them is Nancy Bobofit throwing pieces of her peanut butter sandwich Grover's hair. I'm going to kill her, Andromeda says while clenching her knuckles. Naruto raises an eyebrow. Killing her is a bit extreme, don't you think? Naruto asks / jokes. She blushes. I guess. I just wish I could do something about it, she says. But you can't. You'll get expelled, Grover says. She smirks. Not unless I'm not the one that does it, she says. Grover glanced over at Naruto and sees him smiling. He gulps. I would suggest you stop throwing your food in my friend's hair, Miss Bobofit. She glares at him. Why do you stand up for them, Uzumaki? You are way too cool for them, she says. Because Miss Bobofit, they are better company than you. And congratulations, you made my list, he says while she pales and his friends snicker at her for making his list. His list is basically people who will get Parable's heart unroll he sees fit. The last person who was on his list was a guy named Brad. He was on it for insulting his friends, and it wasn't pretty. He was ranked for a month straight. Geez man, Grover says you go to great lengths for your friends. Well Grover, you should know they are all I have left. Grover nods sadly. Well Naruto, thanks for helping. He smiles. You're welcome. They ride the rest of the way in silence. Greek Museum exhibit. Naruto and Andromeda were trying to listen, but Nancy and her friends were talking and it was annoying them to no end. And whenever they told them to shut up they were glared at by Mrs. Fords, who saw Nancy as an angel and that she never did anything wrong. Finally they both snapped. They turned around. Will you shut up? They say a little too loud. Miss Jackson, Mr. Uzumaki. Mr. Brunner says, do you have a comment? Andromeda blushes. No sir. Naruto says. Well then, would you mind explaining what this picture represents? Andromeda looks confusingly at it while Naruto grins at it. That's the mysterious hero who defeated Echidna and her kids, the Nemean lion, the Lernean hydra, the chimera, Medusa, Scylla, and befriended the Ladin the dragon and the monsters Orpheus, Cerberus and Tumeshin the fox. While he was fighting them he made a copy of himself to get his friend to safety, which he was escorting to the hunters of Artemis. After that he just disappeared, never to be seen. Mr. Brunner smiles. That is correct. He hears Nancy scoff. When in real life are we going to need that? On our job application is it going to say what monsters did the mysterious hero befriend? And why Miss Jackson and Mr. Uzumaki? To paraphrase Mississippi Bobo Fitt's question, do this matter in real life? Grover stickers busted. Nancy blushes. Shut up. Andromeda looks down. I don't know sir. He looks disappointed, then looks at Naruto. He shrugs. My reason would make everyone think I'm crazy. He makes the whole class laugh. We already think that. When they say that they get treated with the comical scene of Naruto sitting on the ground in a corner holding his knees, with a rain cloud above his head. This just gets more laughter from the crowd. Mr. Brunner smiles, trying hard not to laugh while half credit Mr. Uzumaki. On this happy note I think it's time for lunch. They begin to walk out. Mr. Uzumaki, will you stay for a moment? He shrugs. I guess. Can't embarrass myself any more than what I already did. Mr. Brunner chuckles. Well Mr. Uzumaki, now can you tell me why this is important for real life? Sure Chiron, he says with a smile, while Chiron's eyes widen. How he stutters out. Illusions don't work on me and I have enhanced senses, he says, still smiling at the painting of his legend. Chiron regains his bearings. Well Naruto, you seem interested in this painting. Mind telling me why? He shrugs. Sure. But promise me you won't tell the gods until I'm ready. Chiron nods. Alright, I promise. Naruto nods. I'm interested in this painting because it is my legend, he says casually. Mr. Brunner is shocked. Her standing in front of him is the monster slayer. The only hero to befriend any of Echidna's children. The hero that all monsters feared. He headed of him from Zoe one time when the hunters of Artemis visited camp. She said he is the only male who has her respect. That is surprising considering she is the ultimate ice queen. It's hard just to get her to notice you. How can you be him? He should have died thousands of years ago, Mr. Brunner says. Naruto sighs and holds up a necklace with a black gem. When this glows blue I can travel back in time, but only to the point where I'm needed. Chiron nods. But who is your godly parent? Naruto nervously chuckles. I don't know. Chiron sweat drops big time. By the way, Chiron, Mississippi. Does it is a fury and Andromeda will need my help, so see ya. He disappears in a flash of black and gold. He appears behind the fury known as Mississippi Fords and stabs her in the chest with his sword. She explodes into golden dust. You. Gross. Andromeda says. She then sees Naruto and Naruto? When did you get here? Just now, she face faults. Well, thanks for the help. We should get back to everyone now, she says. He nods. Yeah, just don't mention Mississippi. Does it to anyone, they'll think you're crazy. Just trust me, okay? She nods and they walk out back to their class. Hey guys. What took you so long? Grover asks. Naruto winks at him. Nothing much. Mr. Brunner wanted to talk to about something and I ran into Andra here. She blushes at the nickname he gave her but she nods in agreement with Naruto. Grover raises an eyebrow. Nothing else. How are you sure? He asks/teases. Andromeda blushes a darker shade of red while Naruto chuckles. Nothing like that, man. Well, we should get on the bus and get ready to go back. They all nod in agreement and get on the bus. Ever since the museum trip Andromeda has been feeling irritable. I couldn't help but feel like everyone was hiding something. Ignoring Naruto's warning not to mention Miss Dodds. I would spring up a reference of her now and then on some people, and they'd look at her like I lost it. I asked Naruto about it but he won't say anything. It annoyed me to no end. So one day I followed him into the woods where he goes every day. I didn't expect the sight she saw. I saw hundreds of Narutos doing various things like kicking a tree, meditating and walking up a tree. I couldn't believe what she was seeing. There were some walking on water, some cutting rocks with nothing but wind. This feats shouldn't be possible, but here he is doing them. Enjoying the show? I hears a voice behind her ask. I jumps at hearing him behind her. After calming down she asks, how are you doing this? Most of this shouldn't be possible. He takes a moment to think in a thinking pose. Would you believe me if I said I was a ninja? He asks. I looks at him for a second. What do you mean by ninja? He sighs. Well, I can't say all the details for now, isn't the time, but I will say this. I'm not from this world. I'm from another dimension where it's the age of the ninja and we're able to control the elements to fight and make our lives easier, he says, letting that sink in for me. How you get here then? I ask. He smiles. Details. Those I can't share until a later date. I pout at that, and he laughs. I will eventually tell you though. I smile at that. Okay, I'll keep you to that. But you gotta show some more of your Link's tricks. He chuckles a little at what I said. Alright, but you promise not to tell anyone about this. Deal? He asks. I nod deal. He smiles good. Normal POV. Right now we see Andromeda studying for her Latin final tomorrow. It was the only class she really studied for. She tried to read the words on the page but they wouldn't stop moving around. She got so frustrated she threw the book across the room. Naruto sits up on his bed and looks at her with an amused smile on his face. You know throwing the book isn't going to help, right? He asks. She blushes. Yeah? Well, I don't have shadow clones to help me study, Mr. Ninja, she says, annoyed. Well, what are you not getting? He asks. I don't get the difference between Sharon and Chiron, he says. One was the trainer of heroes and the other is the ferryman of the dead, he says. That's only one of them. She nearly yells in frustration. You could go to Mr. Brunner for help, he says, trying to help. Could you come with me? She says with a blush. He smiles at her, of course. But let me dispel the clone. She nods and lets him dispel the clone, then they begin to walk down to Mr. Brunner's room with the book. When they're about to open the door when they hear someone on the inside say, Worried about Naruto and Andromeda, sir. Andromeda's stiffness with the book in her hands when she hears her name. While Naruto shakes his head, there's no getting out of this, he thinks. Inside the class with Grover and Chiron. I mean a kindly one in the school. Grover says. Chiron sighs. Grover, I understand your concern, but they'll be fine. Let her enjoy her ignorance while it lasts. Grover looks at him. Her, don't you mean Naruto too? Grover asks, curious to know if he knew already. Chiron shakes his head. No, Grover, he already knows. Grover eyes widen a little. What do you mean already knows? Chiron sighs and takes out a tri-pronged kunai. Grover eyes it suspiciously. It'd be easier if he told you himself. Moments ago outside. Naruto looks at Andromeda. Look, I know you're confused, so I'll create a clone and both of you head back to our dorm, and he'll tell you everything you want to know. Okay? He whispers. She nods absent-mindedly and walks back to the dorms with the clone while Naruto transports into the classroom. He smiles. Hi, Chiron. You rang? I say as Grover looks at me with wide eyes. Chiron nods yes. I need you to tell Grover here who you are. I nod. Okay, I will. Since he will need to know anyway. What are you talking about? He asks, confused about the whole situation. Naruto smiles. Well, Grover, you see, I'm not from around here. I'm from another dimension, and before you ask, I'm not a god. What do you mean from another dimension? That shouldn't be possible. Naruto sighs if he thinks that's impossible. There's no way he'll believe I'm the mysterious hero, Naruto thinks. Well, Grover, my Olympian mother brought me here, because my life back home wasn't a good one. So she brought me here after she had someone train me, but first she sent me to the past to see if I'm ready. As you see, I was, but I did a little better than expected, Naruto says. Grover takes a moment to let that sink in for a moment. He was from another world. And what did he mean by a little better? What do I mean a little better than expected? Grover asks. Naruto smiles. Have you ever heard of the story about the mysterious hero? Grover nods yes, but what does that to do with any? He put two and two together and figured it out. He points at him with shaky finger. You're the... Naruto nods yes, I'm the mysterious hero. Now before you ask how it is, because of a necklace that I can travel back in time. Now my mother gave me this, but I have no idea who it is. Grover face faults when he hears that. Well, can you tell me about where you're from at least? Grover asks. Naruto smiles. I will when we get to camp. Chiron nods. Naruto, can you tell me what Andromeda knows about this? Naruto sighs. They're not going to take this well. Yes, she knows where I came from when she followed me into the woods, and she probably knows who she is. Their eyes widen at that. How'd she find out? Grover asks. Naruto chuckles. You think she wouldn't notice that you were lying to her about never knowing a Miss Dodds? Grover, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but whenever you lie your ears turn pink. Grover blushes at that. So she does know? Chiron asks. Naruto nods yes, but give her at least one more day with her mother before you bring her to camp for the summer. Chiron nods. That would make her feel better to leave for the summer. Yes, but since it's Grover's job to protect her, he should come with. And plus she'll need another friend. Grover nods. Well, you two should get ready for your finals tomorrow, Chiron says. Naruto grins at him while Grover browns. I'm already studying, Naruto says. Chiron and Grover raise an eyebrow at that. If you don't mind me asking, how? Chiron asks. Naruto's smile widens as he makes the sign to make a shadow clone. They see another Naruto appear. Their eyes widen. This right here is a shadow clone. It is a solid clone, and whatever it does before it dispels is transferred to the creator. It's perfect for intel gathering or just training. Chiron and Grover are thinking that over. Well, Naruto, you'd be a powerful ally if things come down to a fight, or possibly a war, Chiron says. Naruto grins at him. And that's only one thing I can do. I can also transform them into anything and anybody, so infiltration missions will be a breeze. Chiron smiles towards him. At Grover, it seems when the hunters visit next time we may have a chance to beat them this time. Which reminds me, Chiron. What do you teach the heroes there? Chiron thinks for a second. We teach them skills that will help them defend themselves against monsters like swordsmanship, archery. We also let them do their own thing there like canoeing, smithing, etc., etc. Why, you ask? I just wanted to see if you left anything out. And there is one thing. What is it? Chiron asked, intrigued to see what he forgot. Their teamwork. A lone demigod can only get so far, but if you work together then you can do anything, Naruto says. Chiron blinks dumbfounded at that, then smacks his head with his hand. Stupid, how could I have forgotten that? Naruto and Grover laugh at that. Well, it's been a long day, and I'm sure Andromeda is wondering where I am by now. So bye. Grover looks where he was walking. He'll be the strongest hero who ever lived, won't he, Chiron? Chiron nods. I have no doubt, Grover. I have no doubt. Back at the dorm, Naruto looks and sees Andromeda laying on her bunk thinking over what Naruto's clone told her. He sits next to her. Hey, you taking this okay? She nods weakly at him. Yes, it's just a lot to take in, you know. Naruto nods. I felt the same way when I was told. He pauses for a moment. I talked Chiron into letting you have one more day with your mother before the summer. She instantly sits up and hugs him. Thank you, she says. Naruto smiles. No problem, that's what friends are for. Yeah. Friends, she whispers, hoping he didn't hear. But he did. Oh, does Andra-chan want to be more than friends? He teased. She blushes. Yes, she whispers. He sighs. You do know that if you're with me you'll have to share me, right? She looks at him with a glare. But it's ruined by the blush. What do you mean? She asked, a little annoyed by this. He sighs. Well, you see, where I'm from, if a clan is close to dying out, or someone is the last of a bloodline, they are put into the CRE, which makes sure the clan or bloodline doesn't go extinct. I fall into both those categories, he says, pausing to see her reaction. She takes a breath. What will you do if you have more than girlfriend? She asks. I would love them all equally with all my heart forever, he says. She smiles. I've had a crush on you the moment you came to school, and I can say I do like you, Naruto. And if anyone else does too, I'll be willing to share as long as I can be with you. Because I love you, she says and leans in to kiss him on the lips. He is surprised at first but then kisses back with equal love. They stay like that for a minute but then the need to breathe becomes too great and they separate. Andromeda leans onto Naruto's shoulder. Wow, she says, still dazed by the kiss. I know, Naruto says. They then lay down and cuddled and they fall asleep in each other's arms. Andromeda was happy. Why, you ask? Well, she passed her Latin final and is on her way home with her friend Grover and her boyfriend Naruto. She will be spending one day with her mom before she heads to this camp for the summer. She isn't even sad she got expelled from Yansei Academy for starting a fight with Nancy. The funny thing is Naruto got expelled too. How? He got caught trying to paint the principal's office orange. Right now they are taking a cab to her apartment. The bus ride is the same but Grover isn't panicking to meet her mother. Naruto is kinda nervous to meet her, but Andromeda calms him down saying it will be fine. He calms down a little but is still nervous. When asked why, he answered, who wouldn't be nervous in meeting their girlfriend's mother for the first time? He says, and they laugh at him, even the cab driver. Then a rain cloud appears above his head. It isn't funny, he says. It kinda is, Naruto, Grover says. The rest of the cab ride was them laughing at Naruto. When they get there and knock on the door, they see the person they don't want to see, Gabe. He is a world's class jerk. According to Andromeda, he was a fine like the first 30 seconds they meet him, then he showed his true colors. Hey kid, got any money? Gabe asks. They face fault. No, welcome back, just ask for money. With him? Sure, why not? No, I don't, she lies. Gabe raises an eyebrow. You took a cab about 10 blocks away, that's about $23 paid with a. I paid for it, Naruto interrupts. Gabe raises his eyebrow yet again at that. Now why would you do that? Gabe asks, then he notices they're holding hands. He smirks. Oh, I see. A gentleman always pays for his lady, Gabe. But you wouldn't know that, would you? Naruto says with a smirk, while Andromeda blushes. Gabe scowls. Whatever he sees, Naruto whispers something into Andromeda's ear and sees her smile. Gabe, I'll give you some money, but you have to let my friends play, Andromeda says. Gabe smirks. Sure, as long as he's prepared to lose his money. She hands him the money and walks towards her room with Grover. She then turns around and sees Naruto wink at her. She turns back around and smiles. Looks like Gabe will have to learn the hard way not to play card with Naruto. 10 minutes later, Sally's POV. I was expecting to see a lot of things today. Gabe and his buddies wearing only their boxers crying with their clothes in front of them is not one of them. I ask where Andromeda is and he stops crying for a second, and his eyes harden. He points to her room. She's in there with her devil's luck of a boyfriend, he says. Boyfriend? I'm not sure if I heard him right. I'll see what he means when I go see her. I walk towards her door, and when I open it I see her sitting next to a boy with blonde sticky hair with a golden trench coat with orange flames on the bottom with black pants. Across from them is Grover. They are all laughing and inspecting things that I assume to be what the blonde-haired one from the guys out there. Andromeda then turns towards me and smiles. Mom. She gets up and walks towards me and hugs me. Oh, Andrew, you've grown since Christmas. Thanks, Mom. I look behind her, and I see the blonde one smelling sadly at us. I can only wonder why. What's this about a boyfriend, I hear from Gabe. I whisper in her ear, deciding to tease her. She blushes but stops so she can introduce me to him. Mom, this is Naruto. Naruto, this is my mom, Sally, she says. He hold out his hand to me. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Jackson, he says with a smile. Well, he's well-mannered. I smile. Nice to meet you too, Naruto. Andra has told me about you. He smiles back. I hope they're good things, he jokes. I chuckle. They are mostly good. But your pranks are too funny to be bad. He chuckles. At least some people laugh at my jokes. I lean in to whisper into his ear, just treat my daughter good, Naruto. Because if you don't, I'll find you. He smiles. I wouldn't dream of hurting her. I smile. Good. I lean back. Now can you tell me what you won from Gabe and his friends? He grins and shakes his head. He's won $1,450, the keys to his Camaro and various DVDs. I shake my head. Well, I hope this teaches him a lesson. Now, Andrew, we have one day before we bring you to camp for the summer. I was thinking we could go to Montauk for the night. I see her eyes widen. Really? I nod. Awesome. Can Naruto and Grover come too? I nod. But you and Naruto don't try anything, you hear? I see her face flush in embarrassment, and Naruto chuckle at her joke. Mom. I hear her yell, glad to see I'm not the only one with a sense of humor. I hear Naruto say, when are we leaving? She asks, as soon as I get changed. 5 minutes later, normal POV, we see Naruto, Andromeda, Grover and Sally driving Naruto's new Camaro Montauk. They are talking about the camp from Grover and they are talking about school which reminds me Naruto. How did you get expelled from Yansei? Andromeda asks. Naruto grins. Well, I was trying to paint the principal's office orange when I got caught in the middle of the act, and he caught me. Andromeda's eye narrow. What did you do? You normally wouldn't get caught. Naruto smiles. What can I not just do it to not let my lady be alone next year? Asks/teases. Her face turns red. Serious man, what did you do? Grover asks. You guys wanna know? They all nod, including Sally, who was listening in on the conversation. He counts down from 3 down to 0. They then hear 2 booms, one where Yansei Academy would be and a car next to them, but that one was smaller. That is why you never expelled Naruto Uzumaki from your school, he says with a grin. They all look at him in disbelief. What did you do? Grover asks. I just planted an orange paint bomb in the principal's office and planted smaller ones in the radios of the cars to go off at the same time. That was no bomb. That was a nuke. Andromeda says. Naruto just smiles and says nothing for the rest of the ride. 10 minutes later, they reach the cabin and they clean it for about 10 minutes until it's cleaned. Then they see it only has a queen-size bed and a bunk bed. I'll sleep on their floor, Naruto says. Naruto, it's fine, you can sleep with me, Andromeda says with a blush. Sally smiles. I'll look at my baby growing up before my eyes, she says, making Andromeda blush even more. Naruto looks at her. Are you sure? He asks. She nods. Alright, if you're sure. About an hour later they have everything set up and the sun is setting, so they decide to make a fire and just sit around, make s'mores and talk. When the moon is out and the s'mores are gone, they begin to walk inside. Naruto just sits there while they walk inside. You coming, Naruto? Andromeda asks. He turns around and smiles. Just give me a minute. She nods and turns around to head inside. After a few minutes Naruto turns towards the fire. It's nice to meet you, Lady Hestia, he says, surprising her. How'd you know I was there? She asks. Naruto smiles at her. I'm a ninja, she sensed you in the fire. It's harder to do here, but I can still sense people. Hestia nods. I'm still wondering where you're from, and how you're still alive after so many years. I'm pretty sure you're the one that escorted Zoe to the hunters. Naruto nods. I did. By the way, how is she? He asks. Hestia smiles at he's caring this for his friends. She is fine. Though she was never the same after she met you. I think she has taken a liking to you. Naruto smiles. I suspected she would, but I knew she wanted to join the hunt, so I let her be. Hestia nods, then smiles. You know, never in my immortal life have I seen anyone that cares so much for their friends as much as you do. Naruto smiles sadly. Where I come from I had to cherish the friends I made, because they were so few. Why is that? Hestia asks, curious to why he didn't have a lot of friends. Do you believe that if you are the leader of the village you should put it ahead of your family? He asks. Hestia is perplexed with the question. I believe that you should put your family ahead of anything else, not the other way around. That's what I thought. But then I learned as Hokage you have to put your village's needs ahead of your own, Naruto says. You see, 12 years ago there was a demon who attacked my home village. It so happens that I was born on the same day. When the Hokage arrived he attacked the 9-tailed fox. He was the strongest shinobi that ever lived, but you can't kill a tailed beast. You can contain it. So the Hokage a child so it can be sealed, but at the cost of his life. He wanted the boy to be seen as a hero. But whenever the villagers saw him all they saw was the fox, not the hero who contains it. He was beaten, stabbed, poisoned, ignored and kicked out of the orphanage at age 3. The kids didn't know about the 9 tails, but their parents told them to stay away from him. They adopted their parents' attitude. It was hard for him to make friends, but he never backed down. He always got back up no matter what. That boy, he lifts up his shirt and channels chakra so the seal appears as me. I did learn something though. The Hokage couldn't ask another family for something he wouldn't do, so he used his own child. But I forgave him, he was only doing his duty. By this time Hestia is in tears. How can people treat a child like that? How can a father do that to his own child? Giving up their life before it even started. Her respect for the boy though has grown. She then hears him sigh. Andromeda, you can come out now. I know you're there. Hesitate, eyes widen as Andromeda walks out from behind a tree. She didn't even sense her. I wonder if him and Artemis would get along, Hestia thinks. Andromeda is still crying, is that true? She asks. Naruto nods yes. I understand if you want to leave me, because of it, he says sadly. Andromeda stops crying, walks up to him, and kisses him passionately. This surprises him and Hestia. When she stops kissing him she says, I would never leave out Naruto, she says. Naruto smiles and kisses her. Thank you, my Andro-chan. When he looks at her and sees she's blushing, Lady Hestia, as much as I love talking to you I think Grover and Sally will get worried if we stay here too long. Hestia nods yes. Well, until we meet again, Naruto, and with that she disappears into the fire which dies out as she leaves. As they enter the room they see Sally asleep and they see Grover laying down. They go to their bed and lay there cuddling until they fall asleep. Naruto and Andromeda's dream. They both look around and see a storm is happening. It seems like the sky is fighting the sea. They then look down the beach and see a horse and an eagle fighting each other. The eagle is hurting the horse badly, but the horse is getting good hits of the eagle too. Just then they see the eagle is about to go in for the kill. They're about to yell no when they feel Grover shake them up. Come on guys, we gotta go, Grover says. Why? Andromeda asks. Naruto stands up and points towards the door. I smell bulls and death. I agree with Grover, come on. They then get up and heads towards the car to head to camp. Naruto looks behind the car nervously. All of a sudden Naruto tenses and looks in front of the car. Sally, watch out. Sally turns the wheel to move the car out of the way, but the car flips over and is stuck in a ditch. After a minute they get out of their daze. Everyone alright? Sally asks. Yeah, we're fine, Grover says. Andromeda sees a horde of monsters approach them. Guys, we gotta go. They then quickly get out of the car and run towards the hill. When Naruto turns around he sees they won't make it in time. He sighs. Grover, I trust you to get them to safety, Naruto says. Grover, Sally and Andromeda looks confused, but then looks at the horde and their eyes widen. You can't. I won't let this happen exactly like last time. I won't see another friend die. Grover says. I won't let you leave me, Naruto. Andromeda yells. Naruto kisses her and smiles. I never said I was leaving you, Andra-chan. You guys should know I'll do anything for my friends. Don't worry, I'll be back before you know it, Naruto says. They all cry for what their friend is doing for them. He then hands them each a celestial bronze kunai to defend themselves. He then turns around to face the horde. He sees the numbers are about 150 monsters. There are 50 hellhounds, 35 cyclopses, 35 giants, 30 and Hyperions. Hades, why do you hate me? Naruto thinks. The Hyperions charge in first. The ground freezing where their feet touch the ground. Naruto takes out his sword Void and concentrates to make a sword out of pure fire with his element manipulation. He charges at them and meets them halfway. He stops 20 feet away and slashes his fire sword at them. Fire wave. As he says that, out of the sword comes a wave of fire heading towards the Hyperions. The fire wave takes out 7 and sets 8 on fire, which kills them in seconds. He then charges at the remaining 5 and stabs the first one with Void and slashes at the others with his fire sword, killing them instantly. Next come the Hellhounds, which he's guessing their weakness is ice, so he channels water and wind energy into the fire sword, creating it into ice. He then stabs it into the ground, which freezes 30 of them to such a degree they shattered once they were frozen. He then sees one try and bite him, but he sidesteps and cuts its head off. He sees 4 charge him, and he takes both swords and channels wind energy into Void. Kenjutsu style, snow storm. As he says that, the wind picks up and the temperature drops below 0. The remaining Hellhounds are frozen and placed dead. The Cyclopses and Giants charge together at him. He slams his hands on the ground and wooden spikes come out of the ground and they impale 30 of the Cyclopses and Giants. He then unsealed Teen's bronze kunai and kills the rest of the Cyclopses. He relaxes for a second before he tenses and looks behind him. He sees the Minotaur choking Sally, but Sally disappear in a golden light. He's worried, but he can tell she didn't die. He then runs towards them to make sure they don't die from the Minotaur. He then sees Andromeda jump on top of its back, yank on its horn and fall off. She then sits down, fumbles with the horn, then stabs him in the heart with his own horn. Can I say irony? Naruto thinks. He then sees she is about to pass out, and before Grover could get to her, Naruto does. It's okay, Andra-chan. I got you. She nods and passes out. He turns to Grover. Lead the way, he says as he puts Andromeda on his back. When they pass the magical borders, Naruto senses a soul in the pine tree. He decides to ask ladder. He begins to follow Grover towards a big house. When they get closer, he sees it's a bigger than average house. When they reach the door and Grover knocks, he sees Chiron and a blonde-haired girl answer the door. Hey, Chiron had to come here earlier than expected, Naruto says. Chiron nods but sees that Andromeda is on his back, and he's covered in monster dust. What happened? Chiron asks, concerned about her. She just passed out after fighting Bullface. While I was fighting a horde of monsters for them to get to safety, Naruto says. Chiron, Grover and Annabeth are thinking the same thing. We couldn't be more like me to Leah and Luke even if they tried. Well, Naruto, thanks to your effort they got to safety. But how many did you have to fight, and what happened to her mother? Naruto and Grover take a pained expression. Andromeda's mother was taken by someone, most likely a god, Naruto says. And how many did you fight? He asks, questioning if he wants to know. Naruto thinks for a second. About 150. Chiron looks at him, while Annabeth has wide eyes. They look at Grover to see if he's lying to the. There were that many. He isn't lying, Grover says. Before you guys say anything, can we bring Andromeda to the sick bay? Naruto asks. Chiron nods. 15 minutes later. Now, Naruto, that was pretty reckless, don't you think? Chiron asks. Naruto shakes his head. Chiron, you know I'll do anything for my friends, so nothing is too far for me to do for my friends. Now, who is this with you, Chiron? Chiron smiles. Naruto, this is Annabeth. Naruto smiles at her. It's nice to meet you, Annabeth, Naruto says. Annabeth smiles back. Nice to meet you too, Naruto, blushing barely enough for only Naruto to tell. I thought I have feelings for Luke, but here I am trying to hide a blush from a guy I just meet. Naruto chooses to ignore it and looks at Chiron. Do you mind telling Mr. D where I am from, Chiron? Chiron nods. Why would it matter where you're from, Naruto? Annabeth asks. Naruto looks at her. Well, I'm not from around here. I am in fact from another dimension, he says. Chiron facepalms while Annabeth's eyes widen. A whole new dimensions. So many questions to ask and to be answered. Annabeth, you can ask your questions later. Right now we have to tell Mr. D about Naruto predicament. Naruto shakes his head. There's no need, Chiron. I'm sure Dionysus heard everything. Just then Mr. D comes out from the shadows. Well, at least some demigods have a brain to know who I am. But how did you sense me? Dionysus asked, shocking the other two at his presence. The dimension where I'm from have ninja who can do feats that seem impossible. One of these is sensing someone when they can't be seen. By the way, how'd you like the battle? Naruto asks. He smiles, one of his rare smiles which shocked the two even further. I haven't seen a battle that interesting since the mysterious hero fought Echidna and her kids. Now that hero is one I would like to meet. Dionysus says with so much emotions it looks like Annabeth and Chiron will faint. Naruto smiles. It's nice to meet a fan, Dionysus. Mysterious hero at your service. Dionysus and Annabeth's eyes widen when he says that. Mr. D points a shaky finger at Naruto. You're the mysterious hero? The one who upstaged Hercules? Naruto nods. The jerk deserved to be upstaged after he betrayed a person who helped him. This was news to Annabeth and Dionysus all. Who was this person? Annabeth asks. It's not my place to tell you, Naruto says. They nod, respecting the answers. Dionysus, I would appreciate if you don't report me to Olympus yet, at least until I get claimed. Dionysus nods, respecting one of the only heroes he ever respected. Oh, before I forget, I'm not immortal. Before I was sent to this time, I was sent to the past by my mother to fix someone's destiny. They are curious about who his mother is. To have the ability to go back in time has not been down with any other demigod. Whoever your mother is, she must be powerful, Chiron says. The others nod in agreement. Chiron, can I talk to you and Mr. D alone? Naruto says. Chiron was about to ask why when he sees the serious look on Naruto's face. Chiron nods and tells Grover and Annabeth to leave for a minute while he talks to Naruto. After they leave, Naruto asks Chiron, can you tell me why I feel a soul stuck in that big pine tree? Naruto asks. Chiron and Dionysus tense when he says that. What do you mean? Chiron asks. Just like it sounds. There is a soul in that tree, Naruto says, so she may not be dead, Dionysus says. It seems so, Mr. D, Chiron says. What do you mean? Naruto asks. Chiron sighs. You see, Naruto, not that long ago someone else was in your same position to protect her friends. They were chased all the way to that hill. She told them to go and she'd hold them off. She fought hard, but in the end she couldn't win. Just as she was about to die, her father Zeus turned her into that pine tree. Her spirit strengthens the borders around the camp to this day, Chiron says, finishing the girl's tale. What was her name? Naruto asks. Talia, Dionysus says. Naruto, I want you to try to contact her if you can. Okay, Naruto nods, but can this wait for morning? Chiron nods yes. Okay, we'll do this in the morning, Naruto says. Next morning, Talia's tree. Alright, Chiron, I'll give it a go, just don't move me, okay? Naruto says. Chiron nods. Well, here I go, Naruto says as he touches the tree and loses consciousness. When he wakes up, he sees he's in an empty version of camp, but he hears someone crying. Naruto sighs. Why does everything important he does there is a girl crying? He thinks to himself. He then reaches Zeus's cabin and he sees a girl crying. She is wearing Rose jeans, a black leather jacket with a Death to Barbie shirt underneath. When he gets next to her, he holds her to comfort her. She is surprised that she is feeling someone else after so long. Please let you be real, she asks. Naruto smiles. I am. She is shocked that he responds, but she then notices the position they are in, then blushes. Hi, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. What's your name? Naruto asks, looking into her electric blue eyes. I am Talia, daughter of Zeus. I woke up today in my prison not expecting ally of things to happen like always. I did not expect this guy to just appear and comfort me when I'm crying because I'm alone. His name's Naruto, and he seems like a good guy. I smile. You seem like a nice guy, Naruto, I say. He smiles. I try my best, he says. Do you mind telling me about yourself? I ask. He smiles at me. Well, since you asked nicely. I like ramen, my friends, people precious to me, foxes and training. I dislike those who abandon their friends, those who are arrogant because of their power or status, those who don't take their career seriously, and the time it takes to cook ramen. My dreams for the future are to be the best male demigod who ever lived. I take in what he says. He sounds very familiar to me, I think to myself. Well, Naruto, thanks for telling me. But I'm curious, how did you know about me? I ask. Well, do you want the part before I got here too, or oh my, when Chiron told me? He asks. All of it, I say. Well, me and my friends Andromeda, her moms Sally and Grover. My eyes widen. Grover. Is he alright? I ask. He nods. Yes, he's safe. But can I ask where you know him from? I nod yes, and me, Luke and Annabeth were going to camp together when a horde attacked us when we were about to make it. I told Grover to protect them while I defend them. I fell in battle by a cyclops, but my dad turned me into a tree to save me, but I was alone. I then start to cry, but he comforts me and says I'll never leave you. I blush at that. Thank you. He smiles at me, which makes me feel warm. You know, he begins, how you made it to camp is so much like mine, it's scary. I look at him. What do you mean? I ask. Well, you see, we were also attacked by a horde, but I told Grover to protect them while I hold them off. He told me he didn't want this to turn out like last time, but he said yes. He, Andromeda and Sally headed up the hill while I held off the horde. The monsters probably thought easy win, but they didn't expect a demigod who wields all the elements to attack them. My eyes widen at that. You can wield all the elements. How? I ask. He sighs. Well, you see, I'm not from this world. I am actually from a different dimension, he says, shocking her, but she will ask about it later. Well, you see, after I defeated them, I turn around and see Sally disappear in a golden light. After that Andromeda passes out, and I carry her to camp. I feel jealous at that. Why do I feel jealous? When we passed the barrier I felt a soul stuck in a tree. When I asked Chiron about it he told me about you and well here I am. That is quite the story you have I say. He nods well I should get back. Chiron is probably worried he says. You'll come back won't you? I ask. He smiles of course I'll come back. I smile at him good I'll see you later Naruto. He nods and disappears leaving me alone again Naruto I whisper to myself. Outside world normal POV. Naruto wakes up to see Chiron waiting for him. Naruto smiles hey Chiron how long was I in there? You were in there for about 4 hours Chiron says. Wow that long huh? Well just so you know she is fine Naruto says. Chiron smiles that's good to hear. So Chiron can I get a tour of the camp while I wait for Andromeda to wake up? Naruto asks. Chiron nods of course, but let me get a camper or two to show you around. Naruto nods as they walk back to the big house. He waits while Chiron goes and gets the 2 campers. When he returns he sees 2 campers. One girl has brown hair and brown eyes and is wearing a camp half-blood shirt and jeans. She has a muscular build, but not too bulky. The other girl has brown hair and blue eyes. She's wearing a camp half-blood shirt too and blue jeans that fit her slim figure. Naruto meets Silena and Clarice Chiron says. The girl with blue eyes walks up to him hi I'm Silena and that's Clarice Silena says while pointing to Clarice. Naruto smiles nice to meet you both. Shall we get on with the tour Naruto? Silena asks. He smiles of course. You and Clarice lead the way. After they walk for a while they get to the cabins. Listen up I'm only going to say this once Clarice says. There are 12 cabins each one represents a different main Olympian god. Depending on who your parent is where you live. Now that that's out of the way it's time for your initiated she makes a grab for Naruto. But she didn't expect for him to go into smoke and the feeling of a blade on the back of her neck. I don't think I like to be initiated Naruto says. Silena and Clarice's eyes widen. They didn't even see him move. And what was that smoke? Naruto can I ask what that smoke? Silena asks. Naruto smiles at her well since you were nice enough to give me a tour I'll tell you. Even though Mr. D will tell everyone in a few days anyways. Where I come from control the elements using chakra which is spiritual energy. With that people can do jutsus and world elements. Most can only do 1 or 2, but I can do them all. Back to the smoke that was a shadow clone, which is a solid copy of yourself but dispels after 1 hit. They stare at him chakra, shadow clones? Who is this guy both girls think. After the tour he went back to the big house to wait for Andromeda to wake up. After 2 more days she wakes up. She was depressed to hear her mother didn't make it. She said she is fine, but Naruto can tell she isn't. They are currently at a table on the porch after a talk with Mr. D. So Andromeda how are you adjusting? Chiron asks. I'm fine Chiron she says. Chiron smiles good. Well we should give you the tour then he says roaming out of his wheelchair. Hey there I'm going to combine 2 chapters from the book her, but to make it up I'll make my own. As Chiron gives the tour Naruto sees Andromeda paying attention trying to see everything here has to offer. They are just finishing up the tour when they see Annabeth in front of the Hermes cabin. Annabeth will you show them their cabin? I have master's archery to attend Chiron asks. Sure Chiron Annabeth says. They walk towards an old style kind of cabin. The only normal looking one in the entire camp. When they are about to enter they stop for a sec to look in. They see a lot of kids with blonde hair and upturned noses. They also see the mischief in their eyes. I'll have a lot of fun here Naruto thinks to himself. Well don't just stand there Annabeth says. They both walk in and are greeted by an older kid there with blonde hair about 16. Hi there the name's Luke the now identified Luke says. Naruto smirks and decides to make himself known as a prankster. Andromeda sees this and smiles. He then coats his hand in the electricity elements, and hides it with a genjutsu. Nice to meet you Naruto says before he takes his hand and shakes it. As he shakes his hand Luke stiffness as the electricity goes through his body. He doesn't even know how. After the handshake is done he smells his hand burning. What the check was that? He asks while 2 people who look exactly the same have wide smiles to see a fellow prankster. Oh that will be explained at dinner Naruto says. Luke nods but worries to see another prankster. He then turns to Andromeda. And who are you? Luke asks. Andromeda smiles I'm Andromeda. The name's Luke. You'll be sleeping over there on the floor. Sorry but there's only room for 1 so you'll have to share Luke says. Naruto shrugs while Andromeda blushes a deep red. Come on I'll show you the volleyball court Annabeth says. They nod and follow her out Andromeda still slightly embarrassed. What was that Naruto? Annabeth asks. What was what Naruto asks innocently. Annabeth rolls her eyes you know what I mean. It's just a harmless prank. Don't worry it will be explained at dinner Naruto says. Annabeth isn't satisfied with the answer but decides to wait until dinner. As they walk around they walk near a red painted cabin with a nasty paint job. Well a newbie voice says behind them. Good to see you again Clarice Naruto says without looking around. They turn around and see Naruto was right. There was Clarice standing behind them. I hope you're not thinking about initiating Andromeda here he says releasing some killing intent directed at her. She starts to sweat a little and Annabeth sees this and raises an eyebrow. She backs away in defeat of course not. She says this and Annabeth's eyes widen. No one's ever beat Clarice, and he beat her without even touching her. Who is this guy? 5 hours later, they finished the tour again with no more problems. They finished up and learned Annabeth's mother is Athena. They then head back to their cabins for dinner. They see Luke with a bag. "Hey, I stole you some toiletries," he says with a smile. Andromeda looks uneasy, but Naruto smiles thanks. They both say, "No problem, just be ready for dinner." They nod and the cabin begins to file out. 11 fall and Luke says, they sit at their table in seniority. So of course Naruto and Andromeda are dead last. They receive a goblet. "Tell it what you want. It's magic so it fills with whatever you want." "Non-alcoholic of course," Luke says. They nod. Naruto fills with Pepsi, and Andromeda's fills with blue cherry Coke. When they are giving their food, Naruto asks one of the nymphs for something only she hears. She nods her head and she comes back with a bowl of ramen. Naruto was so grateful he hugged her. Much to her embarrassment. When they are done getting their food, they get up and offer to the gods, which Naruto warned Andromeda beforehand. When it is Naruto's turn, the flames turn black with a small galaxy in the middle, but that only lasts 2 seconds. He turns around and sees other people saw it by their expressions. When he and his cabin mates are done eating, Mr. D stand up to make an announcement. "Yes, well, remember that Capture the Flag is this Friday, and we have 2 new campers today. Ally Johnson and Naruto Uzumaki." Chiron leans in and tells him something. "My mistake, Andromeda Jackson." With he was done, they were lead by the Apollo cabin for a sign along. Mr. D stayed for 2 songs before leaving. When Naruto looks to his left, he sees Andromeda smiling and laughing. She seems at home. He takes an arm and puts it around her shoulder. When he looks towards the fire, he sees the smiling face of Hestia. Naruto and Andromeda have been doing a good job of settling into camp. It was a little difficult at first, but they got used to it. Andromeda and Naruto can tell the head counselors are trying to see who their godly parent is, but they haven't had much luck. Andromeda wasn't really good at anything besides canoeing. Naruto is a different story. Everything he does better than the instructors and always beats his challengers. That included swordsmanship. Many people were not expecting him to just easily beat Luke, the best swordsman in the last 100 years. Naruto has been talking to Taliah every day. She has become very interested where he's from. They also just talk about themselves. On the second day he talked to her, he told her about Kyubi, and how he was treated. She cried for 10 minutes. When he asked if she sees him differently, she replies, "Of course, all I see is Naruto Uzumaki." He smiles and hugs her, seeing the blush on her face. Right now we see them and Grover sitting at the end of the pier talking to him. "So Grover, how's your dream coming?" Naruto asks. Grover flinched. The council says they need more time to tell if it was adequate or not. Naruto nods Grover even if they say no. "Don't let that get in the way of your dream." Andromeda nods. He's right, Grover. "Don't let a council decide for you." Grover smiles. "Thanks, guys. I needed that." After that they begin to talk about the major Greek gods and which ones were better. After a while they decided to group back later. We see them later sitting at the dinner table. There is more excitement than usual. Today was the day for Capture the Flag. Heroes. You know the rules. No maiming. Prisoners cannot be bound or gagged, and the creek is the border. "Have fun," Chiron says. They all get set up for the game with little problems. Naruto walks over towards Annabeth. "What's the plan?" he asks. She frowns. "We can't have a perfect plan until we see what they do first. If it's too hard to see, I can make a torch." Annabeth. She raises an eyebrow, though no one but Naruto can see it. "How you plan on that?" "Before I do it, remember. I don't know my parent, but it's my mom." She nods. He picks up some dry sticks and unseals some cloth to burn, then lights it on fire, shocking her and those around. "Here," he says with a grin. "That only solves half of the problem. Now we need data," Annabeth says. He grins at her. "Annabeth, what if I told you I could get us data?" Her eyes narrow. "How you plan on that, Naruto?" Somewhere in the U.S. hunters camp minutes before. Zoe's POV. "I and my fellow hunters were sitting at our table eating our meal when I see my lady step out of her tent holding a letter." "My lady, what is that?" I ask, pointing at the letter. Artemis takes a breath. "Well, Zoe, I just received a letter from Chaos," she says, letting that sink in. Every hunter who is listening eyes widen, including mine. "What does it say?" I ask hesitantly. Artemis frowns. "Well, the letter says we should watch Camp Half-Blood's annual Capture the Flag game. But we hate it there. Why would she want us to watch?" One of my fellow hunters protests. Artemis looks at everyone. "She said she wanted one of you to see an old friend." Now it was time for us to frown. An old friend, what could that mean? Artemis continues. "I for one see no downside to this, and it's an easy request." At this point almost all the hunters frown. Which one of them would have a friend at that camp? Among these people are Zoe. We see Artemis summon a giant crystal ball big enough for all to see. When the orb focused in, I see all the campers setting up for their game. The sun just set, so it is kinda dark to see anyone. After everyone is set up and they begin walking, the orb focuses on 2 figures that are in the front. "What's the plan?" I hear a male say. The one next to him frowns. "We can't have a perfect plan until we see what they do first. If it's too hard to see, I can make a torch." Annabeth. The one now known as Annabeth raises an eyebrow. "How you plan on that?" "Before I do it, remember. I don't know my parent, but it's my mom." I think to myself, why would that be important? The girl nods. He picks up some dry sticks and some cloth appears warped it around the sticks, and then lights it on fire, shocking her and those around. "Here," he says with a grin. "That only solves half of the problem. Now we need data," Annabeth says. He grins at her. "Annabeth, what if I told you I could get us data?" He saws looking towards her. We finally see him for the first time and I can't help but feel like I know him. The warm yet mischievous grin he was on his face. I decide to take a drink out of my drink, which is water in a glass cup. Her eyes narrow. How you plan on that, Naruto? I froze. And accidentally break my cup. Did she just say Naruto? The hunters and Artemis look at me in concern while An fixes my hand. What's wrong, Zoe? One hunter asks me. I use my non-injured hand and point shackly at the orb. Did she say Naruto? I asks. She looks at me then nods. I look at him again and see it is Naruto. My eyes widen, confusing the other hunters except for Phone, the only hunter I told who helped me get here. I see her eye me and, are you sure it's that Naruto, Zoe? Phone asks me. I nod. There's no doubt he is that Naruto. No one else has whisker marks and blonde hair, I say, confusing every hunter there, and Artemis just look at me. Zoe, what are you talking about? Artemis asks. Well, you see, when I was traveling to join the hunt I didn't come here alone. You see, Naruto brought me here to help me. She frowns. What are you talking about, Zoe? He surely must have died by now. I look at her. That's what I thought too, but it doesn't seem like it. He is probably the only decent male I have ever met, I finish. And how is he different from the rest? A hunter asks angrily. I look at her. He is different, Gwen. He could have used my situation to his advantage. He helped me here and didn't want anything in return. He defended me against some of the strongest monsters, while I retreated with one of his clones. Artemis looks at me. Zoe, that sounds like that one hero. I smile at her. That's because Ive is that hero. Her eyes widen at that before she calms down. Zoe, if this was normal I'd say I don't believe you. But I believe you because of what he did just under a week ago, she says. The hunters and I look at her. What did he do? I asked, intrigued to see what he did now. Artemis has that faraway look. Well, you see, Zoe. When he was on his way to camp with his friend, her mother and Grover, they were attacked by a horde of 250 monsters. As she says that, every hunter's eyes widen. When he saw there was no escape unless they fought, so he stayed behind to fight them, the hunters, and my eyes widen. As you can tell, he succeeded in beating them, and is safely at camp. Artemis finishes and looks back at the orb. We all do the same, but stay in stunned silence. Woods of camp, Half-Blood, same time, so all I have to do is send some clones and transform them into objects, then dispel them to get the information, Naruto says. Annabeth's eyes widen. Naruto, that's genius. Are you sure you're not Athena's son? Naruto chuckles. I'm sure, and if you guys mind, I'd like to explain about my abilities later. They all nod as he creates some clones to spy on the enemy team. After about 5 minutes after the horn is sounded, he gets a rush of information. He grins. Alright, there are 20 people in the main group heading towards us from the center. There is a group of 8 flanking from the right and 7 from the left. There is about 3 guarding the flag. Annabeth smiles. Alright, we'll have 5 groups. Group A will have 15 people and will fight the center group. Group B will have 10 and attack the right group. Group C will have 10 and attack the left. Group D will have 8, and they will defend the flag. Finally, Group E, who will be Naruto, and 2 of his choosing, will go after the flag. Since this plan is thanks to him, they all nod in agreement. After the groups are set up, Naruto, Andromeda, and Annabeth head out. They soon hear the sounds of battle. They agree the trees would be faster. Naruto offers to carry them to go faster. They agree, but not without blushing. He creates 2 shadow clones, then takes to the trees. They soon see the flag. And Naruto, being Naruto, decides to prank the other team. He makes another shadow clone, then he transforms it into the enemy's flag, then switches it with the real one using his superior speed to not get noticed. When they make it to the creek, he dispels the clones, surprising the defenders, and then crossing the creek, winning the game. They are too busy celebrating they don't notice a hillhound until Naruto senses it. All the celebrating dies down right as he's about to stab it and kill it. It gets a good slash against Andromeda's arm, and she falls into the creek. Annabeth's eyes widen. The immortal. That was a hillhound from the fields of punishment. They're not suppose. Someone summoned it. Someone inside the camp. Naruto goes and checks to see if Andromeda's arm is fine. To his surprise, it is healing by itself. He stands back up. Just as he's about to say something, a green strident appears above her head. He smiles. Well, Andro-chan, seems like we know who your father. She smiles back. Yeah. They turn to see a stunned-looking camp, but they begin to kneel. Then Naruto grins and takes their example. All hail Andromeda Jackson, daughter of storms and the ocean. Hail, daughter of Poseidon, god of the sea, Chiron says, right as he finishes above Naruto's head as well. His symbol is the galaxy. They all gulp in fear. Chiron, she never had a demigod child, has she? Annabeth asks. No. Not until now. He takes a breath. All hail Naruto Uzumaki, son of chaos, the universe and space. All hail Naruto, son of the universe goddess. Naruto has spent the last few days getting adjusted to the new chaos cabin that he now lived in. The cabin itself, in his opinion, was pretty cool. The outside was a metallic black color with stars that glinted at night. Above the cabin was a small-scale model of the universe above the roof of the cabin. Inside the cabin, 3 of the walls are painted like the Milky Way galaxy, and 1 wall is painted so it has the 9 bijou on it. The floor is made of glass and is enchanted so it's an endless void of stars. The ceiling is of the sky. There are 9 beds, each with a different number above it. There are hidden rooms under the cabin that has an environment that suits each of the 9 bijou. Finally, there are 10 guest rooms that are plain, waiting to be decorated. All in all, Naruto likes his new home, but it's lonely. He can guess that each bed is meant for the containers of the bijou or the human form of the bijou. Naruto plans on using seals to make the bijou environments endless so they can go full form when they want to. He just woke up from a disturbing dream. Naruto's dream. We see Naruto walking towards the Mizukage building when all of a sudden the building explodes, and he sees Yagura in his bijou form destroying Kiri and everyone in it. He tries and stops him but can't move. When he turns back towards the tower he sees a man in an orange mask with the Sharingan ablazing looking at Yagura. He then turns towards Naruto and rushes him with a kunai. Right as he's about to hit him the dream shatters. End dream. The dream is weird, but he can tell it's important. If it concerns his siblings then it's important. Which reminds him of how the campers reacted to him telling the truth of what he is, and how he was treated at his home because of it to the campers. At first they were confused and didn't know how to react. After a while they accepted it, and see him as himself. Naruto hears a knock at the door, and answers it. He sees Dionysus standing. Hello Lord Dionysus, how are you? Naruto asks, putting sarcasm on the Lord part. He smirks, I'm doing well boy, but you're wondering why I'm here. I'm here to tell you you have been jinned in a quest by your mother and the gods. Naruto eyes widen. I can guess the one from my mother, but what's the one from the gods? The gods want you to help Andromeda get Zeus's master bolt back before the solstice. And your mother wants you to go to your world and save one of your siblings, Yagura, Dionysus says. Naruto nods. I know who he is. He is the fourth Mizukage. I suppose the rumors are true then. What rumors, if you don't mind me asking? Naruto looks at him. Well, you see, Dionysus Yagura is the current modulate of Kirigakure. But for the past decade or so there has been a civil war. You see, he started killing of anyone with a bloodline, because he didn't want anyone to oppose him. People started to rebel against him, but some people, mostly his friends, say he never do the things he's done. They say he's controlled by someone, and I believe that too. Dionysus takes a thoughtful look. Well, normally you take 2 people on a quest with you, but if you don't want to, that's up to you because it is much more dangerous. And plus you'll be joining Andromeda once you finish your quest. So you'd have to send them back then meet up with them. Either way, choose is up to you. Naruto nods. I'm sure the gods would want me to bring 2 people along to see my world, I assume. But I'll do it for personal reasons, so yes, I'll bring 2 companions. Dionysus nods. Very well, head to the oracle and receive your prophecy, then choose your companions. Big house attic. Naruto just climbed up the ladder to the attic and is taking everything in. There are trophies from monsters and adventures that demigods have been on all over the place. He sees a mummy-like creature sitting on a tripod stool by the window. As he approaches he hears it. I am the oracle of Delphine. Approach, seeker, and ask. Naruto hears a snake-like voice in his head say as green mist surrounds the oracle. What is my destiny? Naruto asks. You shall go to Kiri and help your family. You shall meet some friends along the way. Masked man, rise or fall by your hands. And though love and war, a way is found. 10 minutes later, Naruto is looking for his friends to bring with him. He thinks over the prophecy. He already has 1 line down, and a good thing he was going to bring them along anyway too. He sees them by the docks by the lake. As he gets near they see him. Hey Naruto, how are you doing? Silena asks. Good. I was going to ask you something, he says. What is it? They both ask. He smiles. I was wondering if you'd like to help me on my quest? They widen their eyes. You'd want my help? Silena and Clarice ask. He nods. Of course I'd want your help, you guys are my friends. What about Andromeda and Annabeth? Clarice asks. They have their own quest. Besides, I'd like to learn more about you guys, he says with a smile. They both blush lightly at that. Well, meet up in an hour. Oh, and we'll have to change how you wear clothes on this quest. What, why? They ask. Well, you see, we are going to where I'm from. They widen their eyes at that, and it's basically like historical Japan. Silena calms down. Well, I always wanted a kimono, but why are we going? Naruto smiles a little. Well, you see, one of my family members and is being controlled by a man that I will stop. They nod. When do we leave? Clarice asks. In 2 hours. They nod. What would you like for your clothing? Can I have a blue kimono with white flowers? Silena asks. I'll just take whatever battle clothes you have when we leave, Clarice says. He nods to them both and hands Clarice black A&BU clothes. 1 hour 30 hours later, Naruto is walking up to Talia's tree, because he wants to inform her he won't be back for a while. As he enters the tree he sees Talia waiting for him. He smiles. Hey Talia, how's it going? She smiles. Nothing much. Naruto looks at her. Talia, I won't be coming back for a while because I was issued a quest to go to my world to save my brother. She looks sad but nods. Alright, but promise you'll be back. He smiles. I promise. Now I should be on my way. Right as he's about to leave he feels a pair of hands wrap around him and a pair of lips on his. He's surprised but returns the kiss. When they stop kissing they separate. I know you have a girlfriend already, but I'm fine with sharing and I know she is too. He smiles. I'll see you soon, Thalchan. She smiles at the nickname, not even noticing the feminine figure behind her. When he is out of the tree he has a smile on his face, and his eyes closed. Not noticing the 2 figures approaching him. What's with the smile, Naruto? Silena asks. He smiles towards her. Just got done talking to Talia. And when I was done she kissed me, he says. Their eyes widen, but already knowing he can talk to her because he told them and only them Annabeth, Andromeda and Grover. Why'd she kiss you if you're already in a relationship? Silena almost yells, taking relationships seriously. He holds up his hands. Androchan already knows this might have happened, and she's fine with sharing whoever loves me too. That seems to have calmed Silena and Clarice down, but he can see they're in deep thought. Well, we should get going. They nod and he tells his mom he's ready and feels the familiar towels in his stomach before his surroundings get replaced with a forest and the air smells cleaner. They take a second to admire the beauty of the place outside Kiri. Wow, this place is pretty. And it's clean, Silena says. Clarice nods in agreement. Well, seems like my mom wanted me to have help from one of my friends from here. They look at him. What do you mean, Naruto? He smiles at them. Oh, it's nothing that you won't see in a few minutes. They accept the answers. As they walk on a path that Naruto just follows. When asked why, he says he's following the chakra. After a few minutes of walking, they reach an opening in a cliffside. When they enter, they are greeted by two figures. One is a man with black hair and black eyes, and the other is a girl with mint green hair and orange eyes. He smiles while Silena and Clarice are on guard. It's nice to see you again, Itachi-san. Fu-chan. Naruto looks at the two figures now known as Itachi and Fu. So Fu-chan and Itachi-san, do you know why I'm here? Naruto asks. Fu and Itachi nod. Yes, Naruto-kun. Your mother has told us, and to say Chomei wasn't surprised would be an understatement. He almost had a heart attack hearing you're her son, Fu says. Naruto smirks. Same here. I never expected to be the one related to them, and the sage of six paths. She nods. So what's the plan, and who are these guys? Naruto smiles. Well, these two are Silena, daughter of Aphrodite, and Clarice, daughter of War. Silena, Clarice, this is Fu. They smile and wave at each other. Nice to meet you. Naruto clasps his hands together. Alright, introductions done. Now the plane. Okay, I think I should send some clones to do recon, and we attack at night when their defenses are low. We then sneak past the guards to the late tower. I'll go after Yugura while you guys hold off the guards. I will restrain him with my Mokotan. Then I will attempt to free Yugura of the masked man control with the help of Silena here. After that I will fight the masked man and try to kill or cripple him. They nod. Sounds like an okay plan, Clarice says. After they are done with battle preparations, they head out to rest up to fight. On his way back, Naruto meets two people he knew he'd see again one day. He smiles. Good to see you again, Haku-chan and Zabuza-san, he says as they seep out of the wall. Flashback wave mission. Naruto looks up at the black-haired beauty to the side of him that he is currently helping pick herbs for Zabuza. So Haku, who are you picking these for? Naruto asks. Haiku smiles. They are for my precious person so they can heal faster. Is that person Zabuza? He asks and sees she stiffness and reaches for a sermon. He holds his hands up. It's cool, I'm not going to hurt you. How can I trust you? He smiles. Because Haku-chan. Like you, I don't fight without reason. And plus I have information that you and Zabuza will find useful, he says as he hands her a letter. Next day, Baku and Zabuza walk into the same clearing and they see Naruto leaning on a tree. So you considered my offer then, Naruto asks. They nod yes, but how will we go about the fight on the bridge? Zabuza asks. Naruto smirks. I'll make 2 blood clones and have them use a true henge on them and then put your personality into them. What's the difference between a blood clone and a water or shadow? Zabuza asks. Naruto smiles sadistically. Why don't I show you? He then creates a blood clone and then stabs it in the thigh. But it doesn't pop. Much to Zabuza's and Haku's surprise. No, instead the clone falls to a knee holding in a scream as he bleeds. Sadistic bastard, the clone mumbles before dispelling. So Naruto says, looking at them, do we have a deal? He asks, extending his hand. Zabuza smiles though his mask and reaches for his hand. End flashback. Naruto smiles at them and sees they haven't changed. How have you been, Zabuza? Haku-chan? Hall smiles. We are doing good, Naruto-kun. Zabuza looks at him, and you can see the edges of his mouth because of how big high smile is. We are doing fine, Gaki. And you'll be glad to hear you made your mark on the world. Naruto smiles. Whatever do you mean, Zabuza? Instead of answering, he hands him a small black book, page 289. Naruto opens the book to the page and sees his picture. Name, Naruto/heir to the 6 paths. Rank SS. Height 4 feet 10 inches. Eye color blue. Hair color blonde. Shinobi rank, genin. Allegiance, none. Description, blonde genin more than meets the eye. Said to have the legendary dojutsu the Rinnegan. Defeated Orochimaru and the one-tailed sand raccoon. Said to wield all elements and is a master at their manipulation. Can summon toads and possibly other summoning animals. Mastered the Rasengan and completed it by adding his element to it. Run on sight, do not engage unless absolutely necessary. Naruto chuckles. They must have forced Kakashi and Jiraiya to tell them my true strength to get this. Zabuza and Haku chuckle with him. I believe so. Anyway, Naruto-kun, what has happened since you left? Naruto smiles. Well, why don't you see? He says as he takes out a piece of chakra paper. It instantly splits into 9 pieces. One becomes so wet it almost turns into water. Another crumbles into a very small ball the size of a pin tip. Another instantly puffs up into flames. Another turns into solid rock, while another turns into sand. Another turns into wood. Another turns into ice. The last 2, one turns to light and the other darkness. Then they converge into one, masking the yin-yang sign. They all seem surprised, even Naruto. Well, those 5 are new. What do you mean, Gaki? Zabuza asks while still comprehending what just happened. Well, I already knew the others, but ice, sand, yin-yang and yin-yang. So yay, more training my elements. They both nod dumbly. Hour before attack, Naruto standing up in a tree waiting to strike Kirigakure and save the Mizukage from his own fate. As he waited, he tells someone land next to him. Naruto smiles. You know, Itachi, I never thought I'd see the day you and I fight alongside each other. Itachi looks at him and smiles a little. Me either. But after your deal with me, how could I say no? Naruto smiles. Don't worry, we'll be gone of this world very soon, and on to a more peaceful world. Nor one ridden with war and conflict. Or at least not one this kind of scale. So are you ready to stop this pointless civil war and bring peace to Kirigakure? Itachi asks. Naruto nods. Let's do this. Within using his recently acquired element, he darkens the area to make it almost pitch black to the enemies, but clear to his allies. Naruto then jumps to the ground and takes Clarice and Silena over the wall and into enemy territory. As they land, Naruto turns to them. Stay by me and you'll have a better chance to survive. They both nod, but are a little scared. They run for a while and see that the Mizukage Tower is only 50 feet away. When all of a sudden 3 figures appear with swords drawn. The 2 weaker of the 3 attack Silena and Clarice, while the tougher of the 3 attacks Naruto. So we get swordsmen? Good, Naruto says. As his enemy charges him, he takes out his sword while Clarice takes out her spear and Silena takes out her knives. Naruto ducks under the guy's swing with his sword, and he gets up and stabs him in the heart, ending the battle quickly. He looks over at Clarice and Silena and sees them on their knees, eyes wide looking at their now dead, walks over to them. Are you guys okay? He says, putting a hand on either of their shoulders. They both shake their heads. He sighs. Is this your first kill? They nod. He nods. Just know that even though you killed someone, you did it to save others. And as long as you don't take pride in killing people, you'll be fine. After all, emotions are what makes us human. You can't stop those. They both relax and stand up slowly. Thanks, they both say. He smiles. Don't mention it. They then stand up and go to the Mizukage Tower to complete their quest. When they get there, they silently knock out the guards without alerting the others. When they get to the Mizukage's office, they see him standing by the window looking out over his village and the various battles. So you're here? Well, it's time for you to die then. Don't be like that, Yagura. After all, we brothers have to stick together. Plus, can't have you killing my brother Isabu now, can I? You'll have to fight me first, Yagura says. He stabs Naruto in the heart with a kunai and sees him cough up blood, but then something weird happens. He smirks and shakes his head. Works every time. He then poofs away as Yagura is wrapped up in wood that is suppressing his and his Biju chakra. I hope this works. Now, Silena, Naruto says. Yagura, we know you're in there. Don't let him control you, break free. Silena says. No. I'm not under control. This is what I want. No, it isn't. What kind of leader would get rid of his own army? This isn't you and you know it. Clarice and Silena say at the same time with as much emotion as possible. Yagura blinks slowly, then blinks again. Did that really happen? Naruto sighs, then smiles. There's no time to explain. Now I have a deal with you. We have to make everyone believe you're dead, so we have to create an explosion. Now after that you have a choose. You can come with me to a new world and start over, or wander around the elemental nations trying to hide from people who will kill people like us. Yagura thinks for a moment, then extends his hand to him. I think I've done enough damage to this world enough, and I like the prospect of a new life. Naruto smiles. Good, now hold on, because this is going to be a blast. As he says that, he places a seal which will explode the whole tower. Then teleported using a Hyrushin gets away to a safe distance. Next day, Naruto is glaring across the field towards the masked individual that caused this whole mess in the first place. He looks at him with utter hatred. You got anything to say to me? Naruto says, while he says that he makes a sealless blood clone and switches places with it up in the trees. He slowly makes his way behind the masked man. You are becoming a nuisance, and I'll kill you myself. Nine tails fox be damned, we can wait. He lunges towards Naruto, successfully staving him with a black rod. Naruto coughs up blood and acts surprised by his speed. Just as Naruto is falling to the ground, the masked man feels a seal be placed on his back and he can't move. What? He asks. Naruto chuckles as his clone disappears. As you see, you fell for the same trick as Yagura. You can't always rely on things to go your way. Now look at you, paralyzed, and every drop of chakra slowly being taken away from you. Killing you will only buy us a few years, but it is worth it. See you, Hades, he says, not hearing his screams and curses because he shined away. Naruto's meeting place. He walks up and sees all his friends waiting for him. Well, Zabuza, I see you decided to come with us. Zabuza nods. Well, I think it's time for a change, and what better place? Naruto nods. Well, I think it's time to go, don't you think? They nod. Well, Mom, can you bring my ninja friends to my apartment, and give them books on the laws there, and bring Silena and Clarice here to camp, and bring me to Grover, Annabeth, and Andromeda, please. As he says that, they all begin to flicker away, but then Haku and Fu come over and kiss him on the cheeks, and the three disappear with a smile on their faces. As Naruto begins to see his surroundings, he realizes he's at a train station. When he regains his bearings, he sees a train stop at the platform. When the doors open, he sees Grover, Annabeth, and Andromeda step out of the train and head towards what he assumed to be the Golden Gate Bridge. When he sees them walk towards it, he decides to prank them. Casting his personal jutsu, one with the shadows, he turns invisible. As they walk towards the bridge, he casts a genjutsu on them. Around them they don't see anyone, but they hear children laughing, and a fog hangs by their feet. When they made it to the bridge, he senses a monster but can't tell where, so he channels chakra to his feet and walks up the bridge still invisible. When he gets to the observation deck, he waits for them. After they got there they stayed for a while until they got an announcement that says they will be closing in 10 minutes. That is when he sensed her. Echidna, the bane of heroes. He also sees her lapdog Chimera. He decides to wait to reveal himself. When he sees that it was just him, his friends, and Echidna and Chimera, he makes a shadow clone and has it go behind her and Chimera. As soon as the family and the guard in the elevator go down, the Chimera begins to snarl and bark at them. Okay Sonny, now is the time, Echidna says. Just then the Chimera dog form turns into its full-blown Chimera form, scaring Grover, Annabeth, and Andromeda. What shocks them more is the fact that a golden cloaked figure appears in front of them. And Naruto? Andromeda asks. Echidna's eyes harden you. Naruto grins. That's right, and I'm back and better than ever. Echidna points at him. You I will kill slowly. Naruto's smirk grows bigger. Hey, race a tip. A true ninja sticks to the shadows, he says cryptically. When they see the confused look on her face turn to shock, they look down to see a sword sticking through her stomach and a kunai sticking out of Chimera's skull. Well, that was boring, Naruto says, making them sweat drop. Naruto! They all say in relief and happiness. He smiles. Yo, why are you here, and better yet, where did you go? Andromeda asks. He smiles. Just went to save a fellow brother, and brought some friends from my home world. You went to your world and you didn't bring us. Andromeda yells. Naruto rubs the back of his head. Sorry, but you had your own quest to do. They nod, seeing his reasoning. Now we should go now, the cameras probably alerted the police, he whispers. They all panic and start towards the train. 5 hours later. We should tell Chiron what happened, Annabeth says. Naruto nods in agreement. Yeah, I haven't even told him about my quest yet. But Clarice and Silena probably did by now. Andromeda pouts. I still can't believe you brought them and not me. Naruto chuckles as they make their way towards a car wash. 5 minutes later, a frustrating change finding. The image begins to shimmer, and they see a familiar blonde. How you going there, Luke? Naruto asks his fellow blonde. Oh hey guys, how's it going? And good, Naruto. Naruto smiles. We're doing fine, Luke. Luke grins. By the way, congratulations on your quest. We will have to have a celebration if you make it back. Haha, I see the confidence you have in us. They hear a cough. Hello, we're still here, an annoyed Annabeth says. Naruto and Luke rub the back of their heads. Sorry. Just then a Lincoln pulls into the stall next to them with its music blaring. Luke covers his ears. What's that noise? He asks. Naruto curses. I'll take care of it, he says. He leaves and Annabeth follows him. He looks at her. You want to mess with him a little? She looks at him. What do you have planned? He grins at her. Just watch. They get to the stall and they see a tall guy next to the Lincoln. Naruto grins sadistically. He uses his powers over ice and sand to cool the air enough to see their breath, and then he uses the sand to change the station to a Christmas song. He then uses a genjutsu to have some snowmen and Santa Claus attack him. He looks at them and screams like a little girl and then gets in his car and drives away. Naruto grins. That is why I'm the prank king. Annabeth laughs at that. Connor and Travis have nothing on you. He grins, and as they begin to walk back he too begins to laugh, and he puts an arm around her as they make their way back. As they approach, Grover sees them laughing. Why did you guys do? Naruto grins. We just meet a guy who is now afraid of Christmas and snow. Grover and Andromeda pale. And it was hilarious, Annabeth says while laughing. Naruto smiles, glad to see someone takes my jokes as jokes. What now? Andromeda asks. Well, let's go eat, Naruto says, enthusiastically heading towards a dinner. Naruto and his friends are currently sitting in a booth at the diner that he walked towards just minutes ago. Do you even have any money to pay for that? The waitress asks. Naruto eye twitches. Just then a roar of an engine stops all conversations. When the bike stops, we see the figure walking towards the diner. When he enters, he looks around and snaps his fingers. Everyone returns to their normal conversation. You have any money to pay for that? She asks again. It's on me, the biker says as she begins to walk away. Naruto looks at him. He can feel the small amount of hate and rage rolling of the guy, but he's used to it, so it doesn't affect him, but it affects the others. Ares, he thinks. Naruto smirks. Pleased to meet you, Lord Ares, Naruto says in a cheerful voice. Annabeth and Grover look at him like he's insane, while Ares just raises an eyebrow. You're not affected by this, kid? Must say you earned a little respect from me, Ares says, surprising his friends. Naruto smiles. Thanks, Lord Ares. Ares smirks. Anyways, you are probably wondering why I'm here, right? They nod. I have a little errand for you guys and gal to run for me. Naruto raises an eyebrow. Depends what it is. Ares smirks. I just need you to get something that I left behind while I was with my lady. By the way, she seems to have taken an interest in you, so watch out. Naruto thinks it over. Well, do it. But can you get us a ride west so we can make up for lost time? Ares grins. Sure thing, kid, just get me my shield and well be good. Naruto smiles towards Ares. Sure thing, Lord Ares. By the way, have you heard about my world or about me yet? Ares shakes his head. Why would it matter? Naruto grins. I have a feeling you'd like my world, and I'd like to ask for a spare later if you don't mind. Ares grins madly. Your funeral. By the way, my shield is at a nearby water park, he says as he gets up and leaves. Naruto friends look at Hai like he's crazy. What? He asks. Are you insane? You basically challenged the god of war. Not only that, but you act like it's no big deal, Annabeth says. Naruto shrugs. Just who I am. They all face fault at his words. And what's with you not even being affected by his aura? Naruto gets a faraway look in his eyes filled with sadness. When you had a childhood like mine, it's not that hard, he responds. Andromeda and Grover cringe at that, and Annabeth looks confused. Before she says anything though, Grover puts a hand on her shoulder and shakes his head. Naruto gets out of his depressed mood and smiles. Well, come on, we haven't stand to run. Water park. They approach what looks to be a abandoned water park. The letters are faded so they read YTND. The rides are peeling and wrecked. Well, this place seems joyfully, Naruto says. The others deadpan at his actions except Andromeda, who smiles. That may be, but how do we get in? She jokingly asks. Naruto looks at her. We have swords, don't we? She nods and they take out their swords and cut through the gate. Annabeth looks at them. Better than what I thought, surprisingly. Naruto raises an eyebrow. What did you think we should have done? Annabeth slumps her shoulders. I would have climbed it, and Grover would have flown over it. Naruto smiles. Well, I can sense the shield and something else. He stops suddenly and begins to laugh. What is it, Naruto? They all ask. Naruto grins. Let's just say Ares brought company here when he went. Andromeda and Grover, used to his cryptic meanings and things by now, know what he means and laugh with him. What? Asks Annabeth, still not getting it. They grin. Ares brought his girlfriend here. Annabeth eyes widen but then laughs the rest of the way to the shield. Naruto raises an eyebrow at where the shield is, then he sees the name, then the mirrored walls. Oh, I see, he whispers so no one hears him. My type of place, he claims as he jumps down and slides along the wall. He looks back and sees Andromeda and Annabeth follow him. He raises an eyebrow. I understand, Androchan, but why'd you come down here, Annabeth? He says with a grin. Both girls blush at his statement/question. He decides that it was enough teasing and reaches for the scarf first. When he smells it, he smells a smell that a normal person would probably smother themselves in. He pauses and shrugs as he thought it to Andromeda. Annabeth looks at him, impressed that he resisted the love magic on the thing. He then reaches for the shield but stops. What's wrong? Annabeth asks. There's a trap, he says. Her eyes widen. How can you tell? He shrugs. I'm a ninja, remember? Now be prepared. They nod as he reaches for the shield. As soon as he reaches the shield, the fluid statues turn towards each other and shoot of a golden net. But Naruto creates 3 blood clones and switches places with them to take the attention. Well, that was nice. Time to get back to Ares. Never thought I'd see someone happy to see Ares. Annabeth. As Naruto and his friends approach the diner, they see Ares leaning against his bike with a backpack. Yo, Ares. Why did you not tell us about the trap? We still would have done it. Ares grins. Where's the fun in that? By the way, nice vanishing act. Naruto grins. Why, thank you. I'm not the king of pranks for nothing, he says as he hands over the shield. Anyway, here, thought you might need this. And there's your ride, Ares says, pointing to a truck. Well, good luck with corpse breath. You'll need it, he says as he rides off. Naruto and his friends approach the truck that says Kindness International Zoo Transfer. They enter the back, and when they enter they see a lion, a zebra and a yak. They are in their cages with the wrong types of food and they smell. Grover looks furious. This is kindness? Grover basically screams. No kidding, Naruto says. They all feel like beating up the rivers, but when they're about to go out, the truck roars to life. And they're off. A few hours later, after Naruto used wind chakra to cut out the gum in the zebra's mane, the zebra speaks to him, surprising him. Thank you, the zebra says. Naruto raises an eyebrow at that, but shrugs. No problem. Need anything else? He says, surprising Grover and Andromeda. The zebra shakes his head no. Naruto nods his head and sits down. After a while, Annabeth speaks up. So what did Luke say to you? Nothing much. Just told us how camp is doing and told Grover things wouldn't turn out like last time. Grover's stiffness, and Andromeda speaks up. What did happen though, Grover? Grover sighs. I guess you should know. You see, some years ago I was assigned to bring Talia to Camp Half-Blood. Well, my orders were just her, not Luke and Annabeth, but she insisted she wouldn't go if they didn't. Along the way we made a few wrong turns and that caused some monsters to catch up to us. We made it to the top of the hill. That's when the monsters caught up. Much like Naruto, she stayed behind to fend them off. She fought her best, but she fell. As she was dying, Zeus turned her into a tree. I blame myself for what happened. I could have stayed back and helped her, Grover says, crying. Naruto sighs. This was going to happen at some point, Grover. Don't blame yourself, she doesn't blame you for it. Grover, Annabeth, and Andromeda look at him confusingly. What do you mean, Naruto? Grover asks. Naruto sighs. Well, you remember when Chiron wanted to talk to me alone, right? Grover nods. Well, he wanted to see if I could talk to Talia. As it turned out, I could. And we talked monoculture ever since. Grover looks happy and relieved she's fine, but Annabeth's eye twitches. And you forgot to tell us? She says. Naruto gulps. Chiron told me not to if I could help it. Annabeth nods. Now if you excuse me, I need to get some sleep. He decides to sleep against the wall, falling asleep seconds before Grover. Naruto's dream. Naruto falls asleep into a dream that he is back in Talia's tree with her. Talia? Naruto asks, shocked. Talia smiles. Naruto, she says as she walks up to him and kisses him. Do you know how I'm here? He asks. She nods. Your mother came and said she could make a permanent connection where we can talk whenever we want. Naruto smiles. Well, that's good. I'm guessing you want to hear about the quest? She nods. So he begins to tell her everything up until the point where he fell asleep on the truck. She looks at him angrily. You challenged Ares to a spar? Are you insane? He pouts only a little. He jokes. She smiles. Just be careful and kick some monsters out there. He smiles. Sure thing, Talia-chan. He begins to disappear, but before he does she sees the blush on Talia's face. End dream. Naruto wakes up to see everyone rushing to hide. When he was about to question why he sees the truck door open, He grins as he casts the genjutsu on the drivers so as soon as the doors open fire animals launch out and chase them down the street. After that they release the animals and Grover puts a blessing on them and they walk the streets of Vegas. Vegas always wanted to come here, Naruto says. Andromeda and Grover grin while Annabeth looks at him. Why is that, Naruto? She asks. Naruto grins. I am as lucky as you can get at cards or any gambling in general. She nods, seeing his point. As they turn a corner they see an entrance to a hotel at the end of an alleyway. Lotus Hotel and Casino. For some reason they walk towards it. They are greeted by a bellhop. Hello there. Here is your hotel suite keycards and casino cards. But we didn't. He waves his hands. No, it's prepaid for you. Hope you have fun. They look at each other but shrug. It's been a few days since they all slept in a bed. Whenever they get to their rooms Naruto says he'll meet up with them later. They nod and soon after Grover leaves too, with Annabeth and Andromeda. Annabeth. You like Naruto, don't you? Annabeth blushes. I don't know what you're talking about. Andromeda smiles. Annabeth, you can't hide it from me. Annabeth just blushes more. Why would it matter anyway? He's talking. Andromeda grins. But you see where he comes from. It's okay to have multiple wives or girlfriends, and I'm fine with sharing. Plus he told me he had some back at his home waiting for him. Plus it was hard to tell, but I know he's with Talia too. Annabeth eyes widen. You make it sound easy to confess my feelings. Andromeda smiles. Well, I did. Annabeth sighs. Okay, I will sometime this quest. Andromeda smiles. Good, now let's go have some fun, she says, holding up a hotel debit card. With Grover. Grover turns around and shoots a redneck. Die human. Filthy, polluting, littering human. Die. With Naruto. Naruto looks around the casino until he spots a blackjack table and sits down. The dealer looks at him questionably but then shrugs. 5 hours later, after winning $10 million and a waterfall of tears from the dealer, and gobsmacked expressions from everyone around him, and a trip to the owner, he was kicked out of the casino. Naruto pouts per sports. When he exits he passes the Mythomagic table and stops. He sees 2 girls around his age. One standing behind the one playing and the other playing. One sees him staring and waves. He decides to walk over to them. Hi, my name is Naruto. They smile at him. Hi, my name is Byanika. And this is my twin Nika. He smiles. Nice to meet you both. So what are you doing here? Nova asks. Naruto pouts. I was here to have fun, but I were kicked out for the year because I apparently cheated at cards at the casino. Nova and Byanika raise an eyebrow. Well, how much did you win? Only $10 million. Nika and Byanika gape at him. Well, I should be on my way, but you two stick together. Family should always stick together no matter what, he says, getting a faraway look in his eyes, depressing the two a little and also making them sad. 1 hour later, we find our heroes in a taxi heading towards Santa Monica because Andromeda had a dream that told Het to. Dang, you guys didn't want to leave, Naruto said teasingly. They blush. It's not our fault. We didn't know it was a trap. Yeah, I know. Still was a cool place though. They nod. I shot rednecks, Grover said. I built cities, Annabeth says. I meet some people, Andromeda says. I won $10 million. Everyone looks at him like he's an alien. What? He asks. Grover shakes his head. Dude, you seriously brought out the true meaning of the phrase of luck of the gods. Everyone nods at that, seeing the truth in it. So you really are almost to the underworld, huh? Naruto says to Leah with their mental link. Naruto smiles. I guess so, huh? Naruto continues to walk towards the beach with his friends. When they get there they stop. What now? Annabeth asks. Andromeda says nothing and walks towards the ocean. Annabeth was about to say something but is stopped by Naruto. 3 hours later, Andromeda's POV. When I resurface I expected a lot of things. What I didn't expect is to see a crowd watching Naruto fight out on the ocean. He is doing mostly hand-to-hand combat, but sometimes he throws in a jutsu. When I get to the shore he ends the fight by punching the blood clone in the neck, hitting his windpipe, causing him to suffocate and sink below the waves. The crowd cheers for the good fight and give Annabeth and Grover money for it. I raise an eyebrow. Annabeth grins at me. Awesome idea, right? I shake my head in mock disappointment. Yes. Regular POV. After they meet up they learn that Andromeda got 4 pearls from a lady her dad sent. After some debate they start to look for the duo recording studio. Along the way they walk down one of the less expensive districts and run into someone. Hey you, someone said. Like idiots they stopped. In an instant they were surrounded. Give us your money and no one will get hurt, the leader says. Naruto slowly looks up at him and his friends. It's a good thing my friends aren't here, Naruto says. They look at him and see him grinning. All of a sudden his friends disappeared. What the hell? One thug said. They were gone the entire time, he says as he knocked them all out. He continues to walk when he hears a scream coming from a shop. When he enters he sees a tall guy and 2 girls on a water bed being stretched. He sighs and sneaks up behind him and then stabs him in the heart. He then explodes in yellow dust. He then goes over to the 2 girls and cuts off their binds. You two okay? He asks. They nod and then look at him as if they've seen him before. Then it hits them. You're Naruto. Naruto looks at them surprised. They're hunters, Talia says with a growl. How do you know me? They look at him while Lady Artemis had us watch the Capture the Flag game and Zoe kinda freaked out at seeing you alive, the one on the left says. Naruto smiles. Can you tell her I said hi? They nod. Thanks. I know you can probably get back yourself, but do you need help? No, but thanks for the offer. He nods. Before he goes he looks in the back and finds the DOA address and some drachmas. He then leaves to find his friends and go on the highway to Hill. 1 hour later. So this is it? Andromeda asks. Naruto nods. Well, let's go, Naruto says in a cheerful voice. They enter and see a man with a name tag that says Sharon. Good evening, Mr. Sharon, Naruto says. He looks up. What are you here for? He asks. We're dead. He raises an eyebrow. How so? We drowned in a bathtub, Andromeda Bluesy. He raises an eyebrow. All of you? Grover, Andromeda, and Annabeth nod while Naruto shakes his head. Sharon looks at him. So how'd you die then? Well, on my way here a black cat crossed my path, so I decided to take the long way around. Along I saw an old lady who needed help getting across the street. Being the gentleman I am, I decided to help. While we were crossing, I was thinking over my life and seeing how lost I was, and not seeing a truck coming, I got hit by it. Andromeda and Grover's sweat drop. And Annabeth and Sharon look at him like he's crazy. Well, now I've seen it all, Sharon says. So can we pass? Naruto asks. He shakes his head. I know you're alive. I can smell it. Join the club, Naruto grumbles. Sharon raises an eyebrow. Unless you pay, you cannot cross. Naruto sighs and hands him the whole pouch of reaching he got from Krusty's. Sharon smiles. Right this way. When they get to the elevator, Naruto sees his necklace is glowing, and then fades, signaling he's about to go back in time again. Guess I'm going back again soon, you guys. They nod, knowing about his predicament, but this time he gets a memory of the past. All he can say is almost all his respect for the Lord of the Sky is gone. He killed a woman trying to kill her and Hades' children, Nika and Bianca. He'd kill a whole building worth of people just to have control of a prophecy. Then it hits him. Andromeda, what was the prophecy? Naruto asks. Andromeda looks at him, but then shrugs. You shall go west and then face the god who has turned. You shall find what was stolen and see it safely return. You shall be betrayed by one who calls you a friend. And though Chaos Sun Death heals a broken heart. Naruto thinks for a moment. I know what most of those lines mean, but they must be kept to myself for now. When the time comes, just trust me, okay? They nod, though a little worried. Sharon grins. Well, here we are. Naruto nods. Thank you. Sharon looks at him surprised, but then grins. You know, never had someone thank me for a ride to the underworld. Naruto shrugs. I'm not like everyone else. Just watch out for Three-Face. Naruto freezes. He's here. Cerberus? He asks, happiness and hope in his voice. Sharon and everyone else looks at him like he's insane. Yeah. Why, you ask? Naruto grins. I made friends in him and some of his brothers long ago when I fought his brothers and sisters. Sharon freezes. His friends look at him funny. You're him, Sharon asks. Naruto nods. Well, good thing there's one demigod out there that doesn't see all us monsters as trash, Sharon says. Naruto shrugs. Monsters aren't monsters until proven monster. Even then you can still befriend them. Sharon nods as he sees one demigod that will bring great change in this world, and bring to light that not all monsters are bad. Well, can't wait to see you again, Naruto says. They begin to walk away, not seeing one of the rare true smiles on Sharon's face. Naruto looks ahead and begins to see Cerberus. Well, I believe a reunion is well past due. Naruto was getting anxious. Why, you ask? Well, because he's about to meet one of his first monster friends from long ago. I hope he doesn't kill us. As they approach, they see 3 lines. One labeled Judgment, and the other Easy Death. They choose Easy Death because it's quicker. When they start getting closer, they see him. He's exactly how he remembers him, maybe a little bigger. His 3-head glower. As they approach, Cerberus growls. You have 10 seconds to pray to whatever god you choose, mortals. They freeze, all for different reasons. Grover is about to say something, but he's cut off by Naruto. Now, Cerberus, that's no way to greet a friend now. Is it? He says, shocking them all, including Cerberus. Who are you? Cerberus asks. Naruto smiles, and that freaks out his friends. I'm hurt, Cerberus, you don't recognize me? It's me, Naruto. Cerberus freezes. Is it really you? The only person to ever see me as a friend and not a monster? He asks hopefully. Naruto smiles. Yeah, that's me, buddy, and this time I'm not leaving. I'm not one to leave my friends a second time. Cerberus gets down on its stomach and Naruto approaches him. His friends freak out when he reaches for his face. To their utter surprise, the 3-headed dog lets him pet him. Don't worry, Cerberus, I'm not leaving you alone. Cerberus looks at him. I'll make a blood clone that can stay here and put a chakra recharge seal on it so it can stay here with you. Cerberus nods as he makes the clone. I'll miss you, Cerberus, but at least I can leave you a friend. And I thank you for that, Naruto. You are the first friend I ever had. Naruto smiles. It's what friends at for, he says as he walks away. Soon enough, after a quick detour set up by Grover's flying shoes, they made it to Hades' palace. As they walk in, they see skeleton guards guarding the entrance. Must not have problems with door-to-door salesmen, Naruto says. They laugh lightly. As they approach the throne, Naruto kneels. Greetings, Lord Hades. The others, after a brief moment of hesitation, join him. Hades raises an eyebrow. Care to tell me why you kneel to me, young half-blood? Naruto smiles. Sure. I believe that all gods deserve respect. You haven't done anything to me yet, so we're good. Hades, for the first time in a long time, is shocked by a demigod. Next, I guess you'll say minor gods are important. Naruto scoffs. I don't see them as minor. I see them as gods and the major ones as Olympians. Because when they see minor, I see an important part in the universe that they're keeping up, in all his immortal life. Hades has never met a hero like this. It's too good to be true. So why are you here? Hades asks. Well, after I finished my quest, I joined them on theirs. Now I can see underneath the underneath and know you didn't. In fact, might I say the opposite? Naruto asks. Hades looks shocked. I can tell you admit want a war with the gods. From what I saw you have enough subjects, and it getting bigger by the day. No, I believe you are viewing framed. Hades, after getting over his shock, says that doesn't change a thing. I know she came here to bargain for her, he says, pointing to a sphere with Andromeda's mom in it. Andromeda is excited to see her mom again, but doesn't know how to save her. Then she thinks about the pearls. Yes, demigod, the pearls. She takes out the pearls. Only 4. Then one of you will have to stay. It was a trick, Annabeth says. You guys go, I'll stay behind, Grover says. No way, goat boy. If anyone is staying, it's me. Annabeth says, taking out a knife. No. Satyr are different from humans. We don't have souls like you. Enough. Naruto yells, making them jump. He puts a hand on Andromeda's shoulder, secretly putting a Harrison marker on her. Do you trust me? I'll be back? He asks. Andromeda slowly nods her head. Then use it on your mother. Everyone looks at him in shock. Andromeda can do nothing but shake her head. Ender-chan, I'll be fine. All I want to do is talk with him. You know that I find a way to get out of these situations. Andromeda nods her head, tearing up a little. She then kisses him. When they reoperate, she's still crying, please come back. Naruto smiles, I will. And that's a promise of a lifetime. She smiles a little at him. Then she, along with Grover and Annabeth, who have been silent over shock, step on their pearls. They then disappear along with her mother. Naruto sighs. So what did you want to talk about, young half-blood? I just wanted to ask you if you miss her. Hades freezes. Miss who? He asks calmly. Naruto looks at him. You know who, Hades? Watch it, half-blood. Hades, I can leave right now if I wanted to, so just answer the question. Hades sighs. Yes. Yes, I do. Naruto smiles. Good, that's all I needed to hear. No, I want to make a deal. Hades raises an eyebrow. What kind of deal? Naruto takes out a necklace. This necklace has a special power to let me travel back in time to events my mother will let me. I can go back and save her if you let me. Hades' eyes narrow. There's no lie in that statement. Is there demigod? Naruto shakes his head. I'm serious, Hades. If you want her back, then just agree to my deal. What deal? My deal is simple. My eyes allow me to revive people. All I want is your permission to let me use them. And yes, I promise not to overuse them. And only use them when necessary. Hades thinks for a second. All right. I can allow it, but you could have done it already since it's past my jurisdiction. Naruto nods. I already knew that. It's just always nice to ask. Hades nods. Well, Hades, I'll be gone for a few minutes, so just be patient, okay? Oh, and before I forget, don't kill my clone with Cerberus, he says as he disappears, leaving a shocked Hades at his statement. 30-something years ago, Naruto travels back in time to the point where Maria goes into her room to get her bags. This is where Naruto is transported through time. He appears in her room as soon as she enters. She sees him and is about to scream her. He holds up his hands. Do you trust me? The blonde asks. She looks at him. What do you? There's no time. Do you trust me? He asks again. She thinks for a second and then nods. He creates a blood clone to look like her and stretches out his hand. She hesitantly takes it. She then feels dizzy after being teleported a mile away from the building. Okay, what's going on? Maria asks. He sighs. Okay, now that we're away, I can tell you. Zeus is. Boom. Her eyes go wide. Don't worry, your children are safe. Now, as I was saying, Zeus is afraid he won't be able to control the prophecy, so he attacked them. He will try to get them any way he can. Because of that, he will go after you. To prevent this, I saved you. Now, before you ask, I am from the future. I came here to save you. Don't worry, your children are safe. They are in my time in a hotel and casino in my time. Now will you come with me? Before I say yes. Why did you save me? Naruto smiles. All gods deserve happiness. Hades included. And I know what it's like to grow up without love. Bionica and Nova will need you later. She nods. Then I will come with you. He smiles and takes her shoulder. Back to present. They time travel back to the throne room of Hades and sees he's still sitting where he left him. He stands up slowly and looks at Maria. Maria, is that you? Hades asks, his voice cracking a little. Maria smiles. Yes, my love, it's me. Hades walks down to her and kisses her and hugs her. Naruto smiles. Glad to help you, Lord Hades, but I should be on my way. I have a feeling you'll get what was stolen from you in a while, Naruto says, bowing and teleporting away in a flash of yellow. He is one demigod in eternity, Maria, Hades says. Maria smiles. I know. The beach. Andromeda was about to call Ares to a fight, when all of a sudden a yellow flash appears. Well, Ares, seems like we'll have a spar earlier than expected. But this time with higher stakes, the figure says. As the flash dies down, they see a familiar cloak and blonde hair. Naruto! They yell in relief. Naruto smiles, alive and in the flesh. Naruto looks over at Ares as a pour goes off on Andromeda's shoulder. So it was you. Well, at least we get our spar, Naruto says. Ares smirks. Seems so brat. Naruto smiles and unseals the celestial bronze camera and hands it to Annabeth. She looks at him. That camera has a seal on it that lets it be connected to any TV at any distance. Just set it on CH. She nods and does what he says. Let's hope they have a meeting right now. Wait, Naruto, I know you're good, but Ares is a god. Naruto smiles. I'll be fine. This is the situation I trained for. Annabeth and Andromeda bite their lip, and Grover and Sally look nervous. At least take this, she says as she hands him her camp necklace and puts it on him. The campers are behind you, Naruto. Naruto smiles and nods at her. Here, Grover says, handing him a crushed tin can. The satyr are with you in spirit. He nods. Then Andromeda heads towards him and kisses him. You better come back, she says. Naruto smiles, you know I will. After that he heads towards Ares. You done yet? Ares asks. Naruto shrugs, I guess so. Ares smirks, classic or modern? Naruto shrugs, whichever you want. He then smiles sadistically, or both if you wish. Ares smiles, sinister, whatever you say, kid. As he says that, in one hand he gets a one-handed sword about 2 feet long, and in the other he gets a revolver. They smile sadistically at each other. Now, Ares, even though you're the one that wanted a war amongst the gods, let me give you some advice and a handicap. I won't make any clones and you don't underestimate me. Ares smirks. Now, why did you make a deal like that? Naruto smirks, because he disappears before he finishes. When he reappears, Ares is blocking his sword with difficulty. I want to fight, that will be fun. Ares goes and aims his gun at him and shoots, only to hit sand instead. Ares' eyes widen as he looks around. He then senses him behind him. He then puts his arm behind his back to block the attack. He then twirls around and tries to slash downward at him. Naruto sidestepped to the right and made a cut on Ares' bicep. Well, I'll be. You actually cut me. Too bad it's just a shallow cut, Ares says. Naruto smirks. Oh, but Ares, I already won. Ares raises an eyebrow. And why do you say that? Naruto grins, because this is no ordinary sword. This sword has a very potent poison on it. It may not kill you, but you'll be in extreme pain, and the more this battle drags on, the worse it gets. Ares is shocked. Such a weapon to be able to cripple a god for a short time. Damn, Naruto. You didn't tell me that, Taliah says. Naruto smirks, but Ares, I don't want to hurt you too badly. Otherwise some of my friends won't like me that much anymore. With Andromeda and friends. Did I hear him right? Grover asks. They nod. To have such a weapon is a story to tell, Sally says. Andromeda smiles. Well, he is unpredictable. They all nod in agreement. Camp Half-Blood. Unbelievable. He's standing his own against Ares, Luke says. Chiron nods yes, but can't you feel it? Everyone looks at him. What do you mean, Chiron? Clarice asks. Chiron smiles. He's holding back considerably at that. It's like he said. He doesn't want to hurt him too badly. Yet I can feel this isn't Ares. What he's doing doesn't make sense. They all nod at him. Hunter's camp. What everyone didn't know is Chaos sent a Iris message to Zoe and the Hunt to show them his progress. To say they were shocked would be an understatement. He was holding his own against the god. That is a feat hard to come by. I will admit, Zoe, he's an interesting one of the hunters say. They nod in agreement. Zoe nods yes, but something feels off. Phoebe looks at her. What do you mean, Zoe? I mean, look at him. The way he fights is calculated. He doesn't waste movement. Plus he hasn't even used his powers yet. The hunters look at her. And what powers are those? Artemis asks. Well, when he told me, he could use the elements fire, water, wind, earth, wood and lightning. And who knows how much he improved since last time I meet him. They nod and turn back to the battle. Back to battle after cops tried to interfere. Damn, Ares. Did you really have to blow them up? Naruto asks. Ares smiles sadistically. Yes, kid, I did, he says as he tries to slash at Naruto. Naruto easily sidesteps it and stabs him in the arm. Ares lets out a howl that sends an earthquake through the city. Give up, Ares, I don't want to hurt you again, Naruto says. Ares begins to walk forward, clutching his arm when the sand wraps around his feet and begin to cover his chest. I'll say it one more time, Ares. Give up and we can have a rematch later on equal grounds. Ares growls, but then stops as a dark presence lifts up upon the area. Ares blinks. And his eyes focus. Fine. Thanks for the spar, and I look forward to our rematch. And as wagered, here's the helm, he says as he raises the helm. He then begins to glow. Naruto and his friends look away to make sure they don't vaporize. Just as he does that, the camera and Iris message disappear. Naruto turns to his friends. Well, that was fun, he says. Fun! That was awesome! Grover exclaims. Andromeda walks up to him and hugs him. You idiot, do you know how worried I was? She says. Naruto smiles. Hey, I'm fine, right? Andromeda shakes her head, then looks at the cops. What about them? She asks. Naruto grins. I'll leave blood clones to take our place, and I'll transport us to my apartment in the city. They all nod, seeing the reason. They had to get there by tonight. If they didn't, then a war so would start. Well, let's go, Naruto says after he creates some clones and hedges them. They nod as they group up and disappear in a yellow flash to his apartment. Naruto, Annabeth, Grover, Andromeda and her mother all appear in Naruto's apartment. His apartment is a 4-room apartment with a kitchen and bathroom. The walls, or at least the walls in the living room they are in, are a light orange color. The living room itself has 2 couches that can fit 4 people each and some chairs. Nice apartment, man, Grover says. Naruto smiles. Thanks. I plan on moving out in a year or 2 and making my own house. Grover nods. They then sit down on the couch that is in the living room. Naruto holds up a finger. 1 second. Let me get some friends I brought home from my quest. They nod as he goes into a spare room. A few minutes later he comes out with 4 more people. 2 are guys and 2 are girls. They people he brought sit on the couch opposite of them, while Naruto sits in one of the chairs. Well, I believe introductions are in order, Naruto says. They all nod. Well, this, he gestures towards Andromeda, is Andromeda-chan. Next to her is her mother Sally. To her right is Grover. And on the other end is Annabeth. Weird friends you have, Gaki, Zabuza says. Naruto raises an eyebrow. I wouldn't be talking no brows. Zabuza gets a tick mark while the others chuckle. Anyway, these guys left to right are Haku-chan, Fu-chan, Itachi-san and Zabuza-san. Gnome of this formal stuff, Gaki, Zabuza says. Naruto chuckles. Anyway, you guys should follow Annabeth and Grover to Camp Half-Blood, while Andromeda and I go to Olympus. Oh, before I forget. Sally, don't worry about Gabe. He's petrified with fear, he says, grinning. Sally smiles and nods. You sure you'll be okay? I mean, the gods might kill you because they see you as a threat, Annabeth says, worried. Naruto smiles. I'll be fine. I already have 2 gods on my side if I need them. When he says that, it seems to calm her a little. Okay, well, me, Andromeda and Annabeth will escort Sally to her home, then she'll head back here, then you'll head to camp. Until then, be nice. Haku and Fu smile, of course, they say. 1 hour later, while Naruto and Andromeda ride the elevator up to Olympus, Naruto replays what's happened up until this point. They got Sally to her and Andromeda's apartment, no problems. While they were in the elevator exiting the building, Annabeth confessed her feelings to him. She then kissed him on the lips. He smiled at that memory. After that, he and Andromeda took a cab to the Empire State Building. They then asked for an audience for Zeus. At first the guy refused. He then saw why they were here. He quickly gave them the key, and here they are. Couldn't get better music? Andromeda asked the elevator. Naruto smiles. I don't know. I kinda like it. Andromeda looks at him. She's about to say something, but then the doors open. We'll talk about this later, she says. Naruto smiles. He then looks towards the doors of the elevator. What he says is the second most amazing view he's ever seen. It's as if they took the top of Mount Olympus, buildings and all, and suspended it in the air above Manhattan. Wow, he says. He then looks to his right and sees Andromeda is still trying to comprehend what she sees. He smiles. It's their Andro-chan. Just enjoy the view. She breaks out of her gaze and smiles. They then walk towards the main building. They can't help but notice that for a place that has an impending war, it's very peaceful. They eventually make it to the building. They see 2 figures skating in thrones. One is wearing an Hawaiian shirt and shorts he sells of the sea. Pisidian Naruto then looked to his left and sees a man in a tux and tie that smells of ozone. So you're going to see my dad, Talia says. You know, if you want to see him, I can give you access to my senses so you can see him. He thinks back. He gets a mental image of her smile ID like that. Greetings, Lord Zeus. Lord Pisidian, he says, giving a bow to each respective god. Zeus grunts. A demigod that knows respect? That's rare to come by. Pisidian nods. Yes, but we have more important matters to discuss. Yes. Do you have my bolt? Zeus asks. They nod and take out his bolt. They then hand him the container, and he takes it. When he does, thunder goes off around him. Show off, Talia says. Naruto smiles. Now tell me why I shouldn't incinerate you for stealing it. But Lord Zeus, we didn't, Andromeda says. She then goes into detail about the quest and Naruto helping with the things she forgot. When they are done, Zeus looks at them. I sense no lie in their story, but there is still the problem with you, boy. He looks at Naruto. Naruto shrugs. What can I say? I live a very interesting life. First part not that good. That's why I left. Why would I want to destroy my new home? One that gave me something I never had as a kid. Zeus raises an eyebrow. What would that be? He asks. Naruto smiles sadly. Love. The throne room gets quiet when they hear that. You see, I was hated for something that was out of my control. Because of that, I was shunned along with other things. Even if I did find love, my village wouldn't let me be with them. After a few minutes, Pisidian speaks up. Zeus, perhaps we should give him a chance. After all, with our impending problem, he could be useful. Zeus thinks for a second. I will give him a chance. Now I must leave and wash my bolt to cleanse it of the human filth. He then disappears in a flash of lightning. Pisidian chuckles. Your uncle has a flair for dramatic exits. Should have been god of theatrics if you asked me, Pisidian says. Naruto and Andromeda chuckle. My exits are better, Naruto says. Pisidian raises an eyebrow. You sure? Naruto grins. Well, why don't you see? I have a feeling you want to talk to Andro-chan, so I'll wait outside. He turns around, bows towards the hearth. He then turns towards the door and runs. Halfway there he disappears in a swirl of water and lightning. Pisidian looks on in disbelief, while Andromeda looks on with a smile and shakes her head. After a minute, Pisidian starts the conversation. So what's this about a boyfriend? He asks, earning a blush from her. Along the path to Olympus, Naruto is currently talking to some of the minor gods and goddesses about there, and his ventures. Right now he's talking to Hecate and Hypnos. They are actually some pretty cool people once you get to know them. Sounds like you have quite the life, Naruto. Hypnos says. Naruto smiles. What can I say? I'm unpredictable. They nod. Then Hypnos grins. So you have yourself a harem, I've heard. How's that going? Naruto frowns. I don't like the word harem. I prefer extended family. And I'd say as long as they're happy, I'm happy. They nod, understanding his ideas. They then look behind him and sees someone. I think there's someone behind you, Hecate says. He turns around and smiles at the figure. Hi, Lady Hestia. She smiles at him. Good to see you, Naruto. I see you have met Hypnos and Hecate. He smiles. Yeah, they are some pretty cool people if you asked me. They smile at him. So what are you doing here? Hestia asks. Well, I decided while I wait for Andromeda to finish talking to her dad, I want to meet some of the other gods and goddesses that live here on Olympus, Naruto says. Why not just call us minor gods like everyone else? Hypnos asks. Naruto smiles. Well, besides your family? Well, all gods and goddesses are important in some way, shape, or form. I think of it as a machine. You have these main parts, but you have the parts that only the ones that pay attention notice. The parts that keep the machine together. You guys are those parts. In retrospect, you guys keep the world together. Just not that many people know that. Hestia, Hecate and Hypnos are shocked. Someone believes they are important. And not just that. He thinks they are the true beings that keep the world together. That's quite the philosophy, Naruto. Hypnos says. Naruto smiles. I'm glad you think so. He then looks behind him and sees Andromeda is done talking to her dad. Well, I hate for this to end, but I don't want to keep my friend waiting. Until we meet again, Naruto says before he takes a bow. The two goddesses and one god look at his retreating form. I never thought it would be possible for a demigod to think that way. Especially that deep about it. If anyone can change how people think, it will be him, Hypnos says. Hestia smiles. He's one in an eternity, isn't he? She says a little dreamily, but they pick up on it. They grin. You like him, don't you? Hecate says. Hestia blushes and looks away. Hypnos grins. I never thought I'd see the day Hestia likes someone. With Andromeda and Naruto. So what did you do while you waited for me? Andromeda asked. Naruto smiled. I just talked to other gods like Hypnos and Hecate. They're actually pretty cool when you get to know them. Well, you do make friends rather quickly, but I can tell they're nice if they're your friends. Naruto smiles. So ready to get back to camp? Andromeda nods with a smile. With that they disappear in a swirl of sand. Naruto and Andromeda enter camp to receive applause from all their friends for a quest well done. Heck, Grover even got his searcher's license. At the campfire they burn their shrouds that their cabin mates made for them. Neither Naruto or Andromeda had cabin mates, but luckily Naruto had some clones make them some while they were gone. Naruto's was a deep black with a star pattern with the number 9 in the middle, while Andromeda's was blue with a trident. After that they went to the campfire where Apollo cabin led the sing-along. Even Dionysus stayed for 3 songs. After an hour of songs the quest members decided that it was time to hit the hay along with the new members of the Chaos Cabin. Andromeda and Annabeth each kissed Naruto then went to bed. Every one of them fell asleep with a smile on their face. July 4th, Annabeth dragged Andromeda and Naruto to the beach for 4th of July. Apparently the Hephaest cabin did a fireworks show. Now they wouldn't settle for your lame red, white and blue fireworks. No, according to Annabeth they were timed so closely it seemed like they were animations across the sky. They just got done laying down their blanket when Grover walked up to them. Well, I'm off, he says. Naruto smiles. Seems so. Don't forget to bring back some souvenirs, man. Grover grins while Annabeth makes sure he has everything. Geez, Annabeth. You're like an old mama goat, he says as a joke. Naruto and Andromeda chuckle. Well, man, take care. Don't be getting sidetracked by some awesome enchilada stand, Naruto says. Grover's cheeks have a slight pink glow, but he grins. He turns and walks away into the forest into the seeming endless possibilities. He'll be back, you know, Annabeth says. Naruto smiles. Well, of course. I have complete faith that he'll complete his goal. Just then the fireworks overhead explode to life, showering the sky in endless color. Mid-August, Naruto right now is just walking through camp thinking on the events of what happened since he joined this world. He got a girlfriend or 2. Stopped a civil war. Saved 2 of his siblings. Made a deal with Hades and actual Hades. Retrieved the Master Bolt. And finally made some friends out of the other gods and goddesses on Olympus. All in all a successful year. He is walking back towards his cabin when an idea hits him. He smiles at it. He then walks towards the Athena cabin to pull a few favors. After that he goes back to his cabin and gets things ready for his project. Day before the end of summer session, Naruto just got done training at the arena and is currently heading back to his cabin. When he gets to his bunk he sees 2 letters. He picks up the first one. Dear Naruto Uzumaki, if you intend to stay year-round at Camp Half-Blood then you'll have to inform Chiron or myself of this. If you choose not to, all personal items will be incinerated in the lava pit. And any unauthorized campers will be eaten by the harpies. With best regards, Dionysus, Olympian seat number 12. Naruto looks at the letter for a second. He then sets it down and picks up the next. Dear Naruto, I know I haven't really been able to raise you, or get to know you. But I'd like to take you on a training trip for this school year. If you choose to accept then meet at Talia's pine tree in 10 minutes. With love, Chaos. Naruto sits down on his bed. He has to choose. Does he stay at camp, go to school with his girlfriend or train with his mother? He knows his siblings and girlfriends in his cabin are going to sightsee and not be back until at least next summer break. He sighs. There is another option, and that seems the most productive. He decided. He'll go on the training trip, and send a blood clone around to travel around the country saving demigods and sightseeing. He doesn't send one with Andromeda, because he doesn't want to danger her with his scent. Naruto heads to the big house to tell Chiron his decision, and he bumps into both Annabeth and Andromeda. Oh hi, I didn't see you guys there, Naruto says. It's fine, Annabeth says. So what have you guys decided? He asks. I've decided to give my family another chance, and live with them this year, Annabeth says with a small smile. Naruto smiles. That's great. My mother offered me a training trip, so I've decided to take her up on that offer. They smile. My mom said that a school will let me in if I decide to live with her. So I'm going to try. Plus I don't see a point staying if all my friends are leaving. Well, I have to meet my mom up at Talia's tree in 2 minutes, so I'd better hurry. See you guys next summer. After they each give him a kiss he heads towards the big house alone. Hey Chiron. My mother offered me a training trip. So I guess I won't be seeing you unroll next summer, he says sadly. Chiron smiles. If I was in your place I'd do the same. Naruto smiles back. Thanks, well I'll see you later. And try not to beat Dionysus too badly at Pinocchili while I'm gone. Chiron chuckles. As he leaves the big house and towards the tree he sees a figure by it, and he can see it's a female wearing all black and she has the renegade eyes like Naruto. He can instantly tell it's his mother. He smiles when he approaches her. Seeing she also has a smile. When he gets close enough he hugs her. Well, shall the training begin? His mother asks. He grins. Well, of course. Where will we be going? He asks. Chaos smiles. We're going to my personal pocket dimension. And I have a surprise for you when we get there. He smiles and nods. They then disappear in a void. When he regains his bearings he sees he's in a field right next to a forest and ocean. When he turns behind him he sees someone he doesn't expect to see. He sees Talia. Talia? He asks surprised. Naruto? How in Hades did I get here? She asks. Oh. I guess this is the surprise. Guess you're my training partner, he says. Talia blinks then says, well, it's better than a tree. Well, I hope you'll read for this because this is going to be hell, they hear his mother say behind them. They turn around to see she has a sadistic grin on her face. They gulp, preparing for their hellish trading to begin. What if Naruto, son of chaos and order? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content then do consider subscribing to my channel. And leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.